I'm live. Hopefully you can find this on the YouTube channel. So just make sure you're leaving your comments. We're watching Spurs versus Coventry away in the League Cup tonight. I wanted to try this out as a new experience. We're going to test it out in the League Cup, and then with a group of us, we'll be doing it in Europa. So already Coventry on the attack, and they've nearly scored against Forster. But a lot of discussion around the lineup today, particularly because there was disagreements over whether Fraser Forster should be in goal or Vicario. And I'll bring the lineup on my screen as well, just so anyone who hasn't had the chance to see that yet can have a look. Let me get that up for you. But yeah, it looks like there we just conceded a shot from about 25 yards. Coventry have definitely started on the front foot in this game. Let me bring up and make sure you put some comments in so I can read them out and have a chat with you about those as well. Stream chat, there you go. So it's a corner currently to Coventry. Sorry guys, I'm really messing this up. Okay, I'm just going to have to delete the old one. It's not going to work. Let's just stick with this one. It's not made for kids. Right, so yeah, slow start by Spurs. I think the main discussions today were around the lineup we said. So Vicario was obviously dropped for Forster. I think a lot of people were expecting us to go a little stronger in goal, but to be honest, I don't really have any issues at all with the lineup. Besides from that, I think it's what you'd expect, right? Gray's got to get minutes. He's a younger player. So playing him at right back, which seems to be the position where Ange sees him strongest, makes sense to me. We've got Odegaard starting, Bergvall into the side as well. The only other thing there people are saying is maybe this is a bad sign for Jed Spence, because he would have been perfect for this. He's not registered for the Europa League, right? So it makes complete sense that he would be starting today, getting those minutes and then having Gray in the Europa. But yeah, let's just hope it's going to fall out of favour. But there's attack by Spurs there. We're definitely on the front foot now. Looks like we're just giving away a foul there. Like I say, guys, put anything in the comment section if you'd like to have a chat about it. I know we had a lot of fans over in Australia in particular. You were keen to start doing some watch-along content, so let's test this out together. So yeah, it's a pretty front foot start by us. I'm pretty pleased with that. I don't really get along with the arguments against the lineup, to be honest. Like I said, I really wanted to see Bergvall start this game, and that's been a key one. I think a lot of the pressure on this game obviously comes down to it being almost unnecessarily a must-win game for Ange, simply because of the pressures, even though we played really well in those previous fixtures. Obviously, results haven't gone our way, so that's just added a lot of pressure onto today's fixture. But anyway, I'm pretty confident in the system to see this through. My other argument for the lineup that we've picked is that it's any one of our players gets into Coventry side. So whatever side Ange puts out should be capable of winning. And ultimately, I don't really blame the lineup on him for that reason. Yes, Stu, I have moved my camera because I've got 2 screens on my desk. Thank you for commenting, Stu, being my only devout commenter so far. It's because I cocked up the showed at the start. He should not have started. Yeah, agree. Thought it did show at the start. He should have started. I had a massive mess up with the setup of this on the way out. So I'd scheduled this to be a different stream, and then it didn't work. So everyone who was waiting to go into that stream just saw nothing start. It just got deleted. But hopefully some people will find me over here. Doug King, Coventry owner and chairman, watching on. Their very own Daniel Levy with hair. Let's see how we do. So it's another Coventry attack on the right. Ben Davies deals with it. Yeah, I think the big thing for me more so than Forster though was probably no Spence, because a lot of people had used the term "has he fallen out of favour," and that was my first. This is the first like major red flag that he has fallen out of favour, because if he's suspended for Europa League, this was the perfect game to play him and maybe try Gray in midfield. But provide that rotation, but it doesn't look like he's trusted even in a game like this, which is, yeah, it's a bit of a shame for Spence, but fully trust in Ange if he's decided that's the best lineup that should be on. So here we go. Howard found it after watching you fail to get started live and then repeated it. Yes, sorry, Howard. That was a massive mess up on my side. It's the first time I've done a live show. So it's not as simple as just going on YouTube and hitting record me do stuff live. I have to have this other piece of software that connects into it. And it was an absolute nightmare. Hence why I'm testing it for a Coventry game, not the Europa League final, which will be on later, obviously, next year with Spurs. Timo getting gutted for Jed. Yeah, agree. Psycho Fox. Me too, mate. I really feel like if it's true what we'd read that Jed had turned a corner, it would have been really nice to see him play. You'd think he's proven he's really good at championship level as well. So it was the right time for him to come into a game, in my opinion. But hey, Gray's obviously a bigger priority for the club. So maybe that's why Gray's played. Dutch Grass, also known as Stu, who is, if you're watching along, he's one of the contributors normally on the show. Stu says, if Reggie gets on before Spence, we know he's gone in January. I think that's like a very, very good point. That couldn't be a bigger red flag. And if you're not watching the game, by the way, it's pretty equal at the moment. We've just given away a foul on the right. Dragerson pushing up high. Franz, my first live indeed it is. Thank you, mate, for your comment. Appreciate you tuning in to my first live. I won't forget any of you supporting me on my debut, even when I completely cock up the stream. But it's lovely to chat. And next time we'll have all the boys on. It's just that it was a bit last minute. Everyone's in different time zones. And it just wasn't possible to fit in the end. As simple as that. Oh, also got some exciting news. I've been invited on The Lab, who many of you might listen to or know as, the Fighting Cocks other podcast. So keep an eye out for when you'll see me on there. Okay, so it's still pretty just scrappy in midfield at the moment. Neither team really has any particular momentum, but what I'm really enjoying so far is Dragerson, because he is just like a racehorse. He's just so up for it, really pressing aggressively. He's won the ball back 3 times already. And I do kind of agree with the argument. I don't know if you guys do. What do you think? Should Dragerson step in for Romero in upcoming games? Does Romero's head look slightly turned since those Real Madrid links? Not saying it is the case, because we're only guessing here. Oh, beautiful ball by Bergvall there. He's put in Werner. Werner's put in Bergvall. That was nice. That was probably our best player of the game there. Beautiful pass from Bergvall. Udogi's won the ball back. Not Udogi. Yeah, it's Udogi. Yeah. It's interesting. I imagine we're going to sweat Bentancur as much as we can. Thanks, Howard. Yeah, need sensible commentary as other podcasts stressing me out. Yeah, Romero does. Yeah, I'm as I said at the start, I'm fully behind the lineup that was picked. I'm not even really. I'm not saying it's a criticism to drop Vicario for Forster because you need to, give your backup keeper minutes so that when you are forced to be called upon them, they're not going in completely rusty as well. And every competition is important to us, but this is probably the lowest priority, even though everyone is a priority. So it made sense. It is pronounced Burival as well. Good point, Howard. I take that back. So yeah, Burival has been playing very well. But yeah, so I think it's more my insecurities around the quality of our backup goalkeepers because we haven't quite gotten around to sorting that part of our squad out yet. The priorities, obviously, this time last year were getting another centre back in, getting another wide player in, and getting a forward in. We've done that now. And I think the next priority will be, that backup goalkeeper, but also that backup wing back, because if Spence isn't the guy and Udogie's having to start these kind of games, it would be nice to have a more concrete option to bring on. Beautiful ball. Beautiful play on the left there by Werner. It's actually turning into a really positive start now. Go on, Sar. He's driving forward on the left. Let off to Barry. No. Sar stopped in the box. That was a bit classic us this season, that driving forward and not taking the shot off. But still, it's positive play by Spurs. I think Spurs have had the better of the performance so far. The question is to me that is this really a must-win for Ange? And I guess that depends on what you deem a must-win, because if it's a must-win in sense, you personally might lose some faith in him, and the fans are going to swing really heavily and start putting pressure on him and making the atmosphere toxic, which I completely disagree with, because we've discussed this before on the pod, right? That Arsenal went through a phase of 15 points in 10 games or 9 points in 10 games. It was a diabolical run. They were 15th in the league and they turned around to do what they've done. But you had to persist and give the manager patience to bed in their players and bed in their system. It'd be crazy to even consider that Ange is under any pressure. So I don't think that's the case, but I do think it adds a level of toxicity amongst the atmosphere and really drives that negative social media narrative of we didn't win today. A win today and a win against Brentford, suddenly everything looks back on course. And I think the media then leave them alone and they go focus back on the real problem child of the Premier League, which is Man United or someone like that. Spurs, I don't think, are in any kind of crisis at all. We're just in a rebuild, and there's going to be a few ups and downs in the season as you're getting that squad together. Psycho. Romero has been at fault for every goal against us this season. Needs an Ange-size boot up the rear. Oh, sorry, pressing in the goal there. Nearly won the ball off the keeper. And a reminder that games last 95 minutes. I completely agree, mate. Mind farts is a great way of putting it. And I think mind farts come in toe-to-toe with complacency. And those Real Madrid links might have made him think, you know what? Maybe I'm a level above this. Maybe I don't want to be part of a rebuild. Maybe I want to be part of a club that's ready now to win the Champions League, and that's Real Madrid. And he just knows he's not going to be dropped. So I would love Dragusin to just have a great performance, take his place, and see Romero fired up back to his best. And Howard needs some wins, just how I moved. Me too, mate. We know what it's like. I fully trust the manager, but still nothing takes the wind out of your sail quite like a defeat, because you just can't enjoy the next few days as well. It just lingers over you. All you want to do is get to the next game so you can get that out. Oh, beautiful. Werner through 1-on-1. Burival pulling some strings today. Really, really nice performance so far by Burival. It's back now. We're still in the attacking third for them. Udogie and Sarr just on the left play there. Bentancur. Yeah, I think we're going to sweat Bentancur pretty relentlessly over these fixtures until he gets his ban. Because obviously he's going to have between, I think it was a minimum of 9 games out through a suspension. So logically, it makes complete sense to, it makes complete sense to sweat him while we got him, because we're not going to be able to rotate with him after that, are we? So, yeah. Yes, I agree, Howard. A Werner one-on-one sadly never does seem to end in a yes. It's in a celebratory yes. I think that's the gripe we have with all of them. But at the end of the day, we all know he's what I think a lot of people call a stopgap. That if you go and sign a big money permanent signing, it was a good play by Bentancur there actually. Good big money winger, you are locking out the likes of Odegaard and Mikey Moore from more minutes. So maybe they're thinking these players are 1 year off starting. So let's just keep Werner in there for now, rather than spending £50 million plus on a winger. Oh no, we've got an injury already. I think Odegaard's coming off injured. Brennan Johnson is coming on. So I don't know if any of you know HG from the Cheese Room. I have a bet with him, guys, that Johnson will score a minimum of 10 goals in the league this season. And if I win, he has to buy me a Chick King, which is the go-to burger place outside the Tottenham Stadium. If he wins, I'll have to buy him a Chick King. So come on, Johnson. We need a hat-trick. Start getting off those goals. But yeah, it's gutted. That's an injury to Odegaard. It doesn't look too bad. He's walking off, putting weight on his leg. But that is a shame, because Odegaard is really our only dribbly winger, right? We've got wingers that are very direct runners. Well, Odegaard hasn't come off the pitch yet. I don't know if he's refusing. We're going to see a replay of it now. Yeah, Johnson's definitely coming on. It's 2-0 Brighton to Wolves as well, by the way. I believe those are the only goals so far in the other rounds. But yeah, so Johnson's coming on for an injury to Odegaard. Didn't look too bad. It looks precautionary. So I think that's a sign that we want Odegaard fit for Brentford. Or maybe he went into the game with a bit of a niggle and they said, look, if that flares up in any way, you're coming off. And it's just flared up a bit and they're taking him off. I'm actually excited for Solanke today. I think this is a game where perfect game to break your duck. 6 to 12 games, all comps for Bentancur's ban. I think you're right, Stu and Howard. Yeah. Let's hope it's 6. Although I think, as we discussed before, he has to take whatever punishment he's given and we won't whine about it, because what he did was pretty inexcusable. So it is what it is. But I'm really hoping Johnson can get a few good games. If you saw Ange Postecoglou's recent conference, that if he heard someone insulting Johnson, he'd give them a bloody nose. And I think that's a perfect response from him. Johnson gives 110% in training. And what more can you ask for your players? If he's not the right player, that's on us and our recruitment team, not on Johnson. And also ruling out a player after 1 year just seems so, especially when his first year really wasn't that bad. Was it 12, 15 goal involvements, which puts him in as one of the top 10 wingers in the league? And then we're saying he's a complete flop. That just feels a bit harsh to me. But yeah, gutted Odegaard's gone off there. So Spurs still seem to be controlling the game, which is good. Berryvale with a brilliant... Berryvale has been excellent so far. If you're unable to watch, he has been really good. We're just charging down the ball edge of the box. Don't foul him. Don't foul him. Don't foul him. Udogie, don't foul him. We've got pressure on them in their box. It does seem that their technique is to leave a couple of bodies up front who fit and run onto them. Pretty standard. It's what you'd expect playing a side in the lower division. Berryvale with the ball again. He's just been loving it out there. Beautiful. Beautiful. And I think, as Stu said on pods recently, he's been making a case for dropping Maddison. Not that it's not like a dig at Maddison. It's just saying, hey, like, it's good and healthy to have players that are better, that can take the places of other players in the squad and challenge them. And can Berryvale take Maddison's spot? Stu says, to the blonde hunk. I agree. I don't think we should look at it as a bad thing at all. Let's hope Barry Val does do enough that we see him starting against Brentford. Although I've got a feeling Barry Val's going to start in the Europa and this week. He needs to do a little bit more than one good game. But let's see. Udogie with the ball. Beautiful run. Go on, Udogie. Vernon out the ball. We're still in the attack here. God, I really hope we get a win tonight. It'd be so nice to go to bed with a win under our belt. Howard, agree. Barry Val having a good go. Yeah, agree. I'm glad to see you watching the game as well, Howard. I know a lot of people, it's on Sky, so that kind of puts a lot of people out being able to watch it. He's a great impact sub. Maybe he'll be impactful on this one. I'm trying to think who I was talking about then, who's a great impact sub. Johnson. Must be Johnson. So if it's Johnson, then agree. And again, I don't see why people will see that as negative. If a player's going to be able to add 10, 15 goals a season off the bench. Oh, you're not watching. That's great. You want what you'd call a finisher, like a game finishing player. Oh, Slanky's won the ball back. Go on, Slanky. Yes, beautiful. It's got to be a foul. Is that a pen? No, it's given to them. Outrageous. Outrageous. Let's watch that replay. How was that a foul to them? Slanky was pulled down and fell on top of their player. Ridiculous. Right, Coventry now, the attack on the left. I'm really interested to see how Gray gets on, because for all of Porro's brilliance and attacking brilliance, it would be nice to have a alternative who isn't a defensive fullback, but someone that you think, okay, we're playing Man City, we can't afford to leave ourselves too exposed going forward, and having that right wing back that's a little better defensively, a little more defensively focused, so you've got two options so you can adjust your game plan. So yeah, I really hope he has a good game. So far, he's been all right. You've got to love Davies, though. I know he's a 6 out of 10 every week, but you're so lucky to have a player that can do that in 2 or 3 positions and just get on with being a sub every time. 1/4 of the game gone and not to one shot. That is true. I think that goes with the same feedback we've had before. Is it's like we're getting into these dangerous areas all the time. This game we've been up into their attacking third multiple times in good positions. We haven't pulled the shot. We haven't pulled the trigger. But Pep went through a similar period of City. I think it was in his second year. It may have been his first. He said, all I can do is get the players into the final third and the rest is up to them. And I kind of feel like Ange's a bit in that position where that's why he signed someone like Odebear. He thinks he's going to do a few step overs and take on his man and take a shot. Sonny just doesn't have the pace he used to. But I don't know why he doesn't. I miss those beautiful curling long shots Son used to do. I don't know if he's been told not to do that or if it's a confidence thing, but he doesn't seem to take those kind of shots anymore, which is a bit of a shame. And then you combine that with Johnson's more of a teeing up players or making late runs into the box. So we don't really have that kind of player who's going to, take those shots off. Maybe they thought Solanke was going to be that guy. We're on the attack again, though. Beautiful. Barry Val again. The thing I like about Barry Val is every pass is forward. He is the opposite of Harry Winks. Even though I do love Winksy, but he is the opposite of Winks. Oh, yes. There's got to be a yellow card. Outrageous foul. Was that Johnson on the run there as well when he got fouled? I think it was, yeah. I was going to switch to HD. Yeah, switch to HD. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, Gray is looking good. Go on. Here we go. Stu, I imagine you're watching this ahead of time than me. So if we score in that comment section. Don't ruin it for me. Actually, well, do tell me, actually. Oh, it was a great... Again, it just it was such a good ball. I just no one got on the end of it. Did I say gay? Not grey. Oh, my bad. Looping cross from the left didn't result in anything. The problem with these kind of games, and these games where you play a lower league team, is if it gets to 70 minutes, it's advantage them, isn't it? Kind of like all the nerves kind of creep in and they start thinking, yeah, we could. Oh, we're pressing hard there. Well done, very well. Oh, it's pretty scrappy right now. Just lots of high balls in the middle of the park. But Coventry are pushing very aggressively here. Oh, yeah, no, Gray did a great run. Right, you're right. Sorry, I've switched to HD now. I was on standard definition on Sky, and it was just terrible. All I could see was the kind of fro haircut, and that could have been Gray or Brennan. Yeah, so there's a bit of attacking play there from Coventry. I wonder how long Ange would leave it before bringing on his subs, but it's tough to know who you'd really bring on. Obviously, Sonny. When you look at the side, it's actually still a pretty strong side, really. Okay, it's corner to Coventry. Please, Tottenham. Go on. Get Fraser Forster on it. Where are you watching from, Howard and Psycho and Dean? How's your Spurs? Oh, sorry, Dean, I didn't see your comment there, mate. Oh, Forster just punched it away. Has your Spurs shirt got any numbers on the back? These ones do not have numbers on the back. I have got one Spurs shirt that's completely authentic and real. Actually, that one has a number on the back in that case, I believe. No, it doesn't actually. I've got one Spurs shirt with a number on the back. And it's Michael Dawson from the first time we qualified for the Champions League under Redknapp, which is in my loft somewhere. And I will bring it down and replace it with that one there with the seatbelt on it. You know what? That's Forster on the ball. You're in Crawley. Nice. Not a million miles away. Well intercepted by Davies. So you didn't fancy being a Crawley Town fan then, Howard? You saw the light. Well, technically, I could have very easily been a Reading fan. And looking at the state of them, I'm very glad I didn't end up being one. Oh, nice. That's good to hear. Yeah, I've got a Arsenal supporting uncle, a Tottenham supporting uncle, and a West Ham supporting mum. So it could have gone any way for me. Interesting seeing average positions there. Yeah. It's that left side. There's just not a threat there, is there? That's such a shame because that's why Odegaard was playing, because he can go on both flanks and offer a bit of rotation there. But oh well. Werner's chance. He's got to do it against the Championship side. Slanky's dropping really deep. Right, we're attacking on the left. Udogie on the left. That's a free kick to us. Yeah. That's quite a good free kick, actually. Position to be in. Let's see how we do. Shafay. Yes, welcome to level 1, my friend. You legend. Welcome to the members club, mate. We can all live here in a happy little bubble and be called happy clappers together as one. And once you've cleansed the muting and the blocking like I have, and just ignored them, really. I don't know if you guys see Spurs Kings TV. I was a guest on there last night, and there was about 3,000 live viewers on there. And yeah, the most common tag on there was pretty much get the owners out of my football club or get Ange out. And I'm the opposite to the Ange out stuff. I'm completely Ange in, like 110% Ange in. So I got some spice, let's just say. I think it started with not that Jim guy when they asked the question. And he's just another Ben Bowman. It was, what else was I called? Another Ben Bowman. Daniel Levy's butler. And then it was, a banker, but obviously with a W at the front, because I rate our manager. And the same people had the argument they think Thomas Tuchel should come in. So it was just baffling. But anyway, I think I won the argument in the end. But I got a lot of stick on that. But Spurs King TV, it actually was pretty good, to be fair. Like the hosts, Marlon and Ash, were damn good. They just had a bit of a spicy audience. Yes, Shafay, welcome to be big part of the problem. Together we are. Howard, yeah, my dad was a Chelsea fan. Oh, well, I'm delighted you are a Tottenham fan. Do you get along with your dad? Because, like, my dad doesn't like football, so I never had that. Yeah, it's pretty good, to be fair, Daniel Levy's butler. I never really had that with my dad, because my dad he's just like, oh, I had to follow someone to be Reading, but I don't really care. He's an old farmer. He just doesn't really care for football. I bring him to the odd game just because he likes to come out for a beer with me. But I've never had that pressure. But I kind of feel like my son has like 20 Tottenham shirts already, and he's 3. To the point where we're moving house, and I've bought him a small cupboard to go next to his main cupboard, which is just for Tottenham clothes. He doesn't really know what Tottenham is. If he somehow supports another club, I guess it could just be a mate or whatever. But I'm interested to know why you didn't support Chelsea. I'm glad you didn't, because Chelsea's Chelsea. Shafay, even with our poor run of results, one sec, corner in. Oh, Forster just about dealt with that. Sorry, I'll get back to your question in a sec. It's a complete scramble in the box. Oh, thank God, 3 kick to Spurs. It's been pretty scrappy in the box. Fortunately, he's not a complete tosser. Well, that's good, mate. That's good. But it was just a little bit of a tosser then, because he supports Chelsea, I guess. Or maybe he was a little bit of a tosser before, and that's why you said, you know what, Dad, I'm going to support Tottenham. I'm still going to hang out with you, but I'm going to support Spurs, just to annoy you a little bit for being an arsehole to me. But Shafay, sorry, back to your question, mate. Even with our poor run of results, I'm still looking forward to watching every game under Ange. I'd all but stopped watching under Conte. I completely agree. There's been 2 times in my life that I've thought, I don't want to go to the game today. Like, I genuinely don't want to go as the season took older. And that was Nuno's reign and the end of Conte's reign. You know, when you get to the point where you know it's over for the manager, and there's just no way back. With Conte and Nuno, I got to that point with both, and you're just thinking, I need to wait for enough bad results to happen in unison now to get out of this. And then Ange came in, and it was just so refreshing. Oh, good ball. And because I'm on this vision with Ange where I kind of like, this is the journey. I can see what he's trying to get to. And just because it's not built yet, that's fine. But you can see what he's trying to build to. And what I like about him as well is he embodies a culture that you could be proud of a football club. And he plays in a similar way to what the other elite coaches do. So I'm all kind of in line with where he's trying to take us, and I'm confident he will take us there. But we've got to give this guy a minimum, like the shortest time I'd even if we're sat 15th in the league at some point in the season, like Arsenal were in their second season under Arteta. I'm saying I'm giving him 6 months into next season as a minimum to just see improvement. Fine, if we get to the third year of his tenure and we're in the same situation, fine. But there's no benefit to putting the plug on him. Oh, was it good through all there? Didn't go through. Yeah, I think, Stu, you make a good point there. Forster showing perhaps the issue with corners might be structural, rather be a structural defensive issue, because we're still struggling with some corners today, but Forster's obviously a big unit who's good with set pieces. So you'd think if he's struggling, that would imply that the issues might be in the coaching. I'm not saying Andrew, I'm just saying we've brought in this new coach. That's I forget what his name is now. I've just been talking up late last night about Spurs at 1 a.m. on that other show. But yeah, we brought in a new set pieces coach. Things do look a little bit better, but I think they've still got to improve it a little bit more. But let's see, it's going to take more than 2 weeks, isn't it, of a new coach to fix it? Oh, they nearly scored. Good save by Forster with his feet. You never say that again. Agreed with the time frame when he came in. I never thought he could change. Yeah, things would happen that quickly. I agree, mate. Like, you got to take into account that of the 25-man squad he inherited, 18 of them have changed. It's insane levels. He's got to retrain a whole group of players into a whole new system, and that's going to take at least 2 seasons on its own. And he's got to bring in more players in the in-between phases. That's going to take time. So, yeah. Coventry just had a counter-attack there. It was a long ball over the top. Their striker took it was a bit of a half chance, but it was blasted over the goal. But it was a classic, just hoof it over, long ball to your striker. Yeah, they've had a few very good chances this second half. Coventry, I'd say they've had the better chances in the game, if I'm being honest. Alas, come on. Let's go, Spurs. I'm surprised it's not a sellout for Coventry. There's a lot of empty seats in there. You think this would be like the biggest game of their season. Oh, Burryval. Well done, Burryval. Beautiful. He's still got the ball. Yeah, it's a foul to us, isn't it? No, it's a foul to them. It's gone a little bit flat the last few minutes. My beer and the game. That was a really good chance they had about 10 minutes ago, actually, watching that replay. It was about 6-7 yards out. They crossed the ball in open play, right onto the feet of their forward. He looks a bit like a shit Kevin De Bruyne now. And Forster saved it with his feet. Where do you live, Shafay, mate? Our latest member. You don't have to give exact places, although we're not going to go knocking on your door, don't worry. But it would be good to know where you're listening from. It's another counter-attack by Coventry, although it comes to absolutely nothing. Come on, we've got to build up from the back a bit better. Croydon, surrounded by Arsenal fans. Man, that is Gooner Central, isn't it? Jeez, man. We need a win for you tonight. At least at work, I'm in a position where the people who support Arsenal that I know work for me, so I can't take the mick. And I don't have any relatives that are passionate Gooners, but I do have some mates who are. But I can just mute the WhatsApp groups and hide from it. But living around it, when they all get their silly little shirts out, all wearing them together collectively, just they're just insufferable. A little bit better build-up play. I'd say so far, best players has probably been Berryval. Gray's been decent. I'd say Werner's been very stereotypically Werner. Ball's out of play, another one there. Is Bentancur seeing much of the ball? Not really. No. How do I describe the game? I'll get the actual stats up here and we can get them on the screen. And then I can see if it matches up with what I think is a fair reflection of the game. BBC Sports stat Tottenham. I can share my screen. You guys can see it. Scores and fixtures. Here we go. Match stats. Tottenham shots 0, shots on target 0, shots off target 0. Majority of aerial duels won by Spurs. Where's possession? Tottenham possession 75%. I mean, that sums us up the season, really, doesn't it? There's just that little missing link in the final third, and it's so frustrating. It's not that Bentancur's been bad. He's been fine. It's the front three, I think, letting down the rest of the team. They just did a really nice ball in there, but didn't get a shot off, actually. But something is desperately missing in that front three. Building owner at work was waiting for me in the parking lot on Monday, big Arsenal fan. He's a weirdo, mate. I wouldn't worry about it. Just, I feel for you, though. If the guy who owns your building is a gooner, that's not very nice. Does he wear a shirt around the place as well? I bet he does. Gooners do love wearing their shirts. I have a mate who's gooner. Last, he's sensible. We can have a decent chat. Yeah, it's fine if you can get a sensible one, but I think they've got less of them than most other clubs. Less sensible ones, that is. Just again, we're challenging and pushing in the final third. It's not getting from it. This is a good question for you. Arsenal doormats. Do you get one and let your guests wipe their feet on it? Or do you get a Tottenham doormat? Because then your guests have to wipe their feet on a Tottenham doormat. I've always thought that's a bit of a dilemma. I kind of think I think I'd go for the Arsenal doormat and then invite people over who support Arsenal and make them wipe their feet before they came in. And just never wash it or pat it. And just empty the grease from my frying pan on it. Yeah, someone needs to take some pot shots, but I wish I could say we've taken a shot. We haven't. No, that's a cross. I mean, the first half's just about to end, and we just know it's just going to be just crazy commentary all over the media that there's just it's social media that's just been no shots again. Alas. If you might be interested, actually, so if you guys aren't on Twitter, you may have seen a bit of a viral post that went off today. We've started a charity at the group for mental health support for Tottenham fans. So we're basically going to be mental health first trained on the pod moving forward. So if anyone listening, you don't even have to this isn't about I have depression or anything, you could just be going through a bit of a rough patch where you just feeling like you could do with having a few mates to hang around and having a bit of positive talk about Spurs in a bit of a safe space. So yeah, we're all getting mental health first training as well, just so we're better at like handling those kind of conversations as well for people who are like a bit deeper into things. Playing that sport. But a complete half of football without a shot, it's pretty hard to defend it, isn't it, Psycho Fox? Mate. It's pretty hard to defend that. Against Coventry as well. That shows we have troubles because we're playing Solanke, right? We're playing Werner, players that started for us last season. Well, obviously Solanke wasn't here, but he would have if he was here. Werner was starting games. Johnson's arguably a starter for us. That's a bit concerning that we're not putting shots off. I have noticed the wing backs are a little bit less aggressive, and I wonder if it's linked to that. But it's a championship side, right? We've got to do better than that. Is Solanke playing? Sean, mate, I agree. It's been really anonymous performance from Solanke. He is playing. If that's satire, you're just having a bit of a joke because you're saying he's playing really badly. He is. He's just been anonymous. He's not been awful. He's just been. I don't know if it's him or it's the service, because when Son's played up front, we've had the same issue, Ryan. I know Son's not. He's not a number 9 either, so he's always going to struggle a bit as well in that role. But you'd think even if you had Valise up front or anyone, you'd be getting them chances, and we're just not doing that. So yeah, it's obviously a flaw in the system, and we've got to hope it's recognised and changed, because that's not good enough. Like you've got to have a shot against a champion. You've got to have dominant number of shots against championship sides. You can't expect to get through a Premier League season against Premier League sides if you can't get shots off against championship sides. So definitely that's a big red flag, particularly when we're playing a strong midfield, we're playing strong wingers, and we're playing a strong striker, and we're still not getting them. So if you don't take shots, you can't score. Yes, Howard, completely true. The Tottenham app is ahead of you. Yeah, it's probably because the stream's like 1 minute behind. Just because of the way it works, unfortunately. Bin Guy, still positive. Gosh, I wouldn't say I'm positive about that performance, mate. I'm not going to shout and smash my fists on the table because I'll wake my son up. But no, it's a pretty poor performance so far. I'd say overall Coventry have been the better side. You've got to say that they've had more dangerous balls and been better. Can't have a pop at Solanke. The team has given nothing. I agree. I'm not having a pop at him. I don't think it's his fault. I think there's a flaw in the system, because as I was saying, I think if you had Sonny up there, or if you had anyone up there, if you're not giving them any chances, your striker's not going to score. So that's definitely an issue. Sarr invisible. Yeah, J-Med, he has been pretty quiet. I agree, but I think everyone on that Tottenham team has been pretty poor, except for Berryvale's been good, and everyone else is like, I don't really have any issues with Gray or Berryvale, but the rest, they've done nothing. It's been poor. It's been really poor from them. It's what concerns me the most is that these are players that it isn't like a wholesale change team. Like there's still 6 players in that 11 that normally get game time in our strongest 11. Worth a punt on Mikey Moore, Dutch grass. I agree. When Werner's just contributing so little in terms of a threat, why not bring on a kid who's probably going to take on their man and take a shot? Like at least we're going to get some shots away. I would love Mikey Moore to come on, score, and that just kick Werner back to the dregs of the squad, and just completely move on from that transfer now of Werner. Bin guys, stop copying Man City. Put 2 strikers alongside. Why waste our best resources? Drop Johnson and Werner, please. I think the issue, mate, is Odegaard got injured, and there was no intention to play Johnson originally in this game. And I was actually really excited for Odebear's game. And it's gutting that he's gone off with injury. It didn't look serious, but it's gutting. So what options does that leave us with? Mikey Moore, Werner and Son. But I agree, mate. I think you've got to take Werner off for Son at this point. I wouldn't even wait to 60 minutes. I'd be saying 45 minutes against a championship side and you couldn't muster a shot. You played in the Champions League. Like, get out. Oh, there you go. Our XG for this game, wild guess, guys, if you're not watching the telly, is 0. That's right. 0. Our possession, 76%. I think that just is a complete summary of how we've been for the last, since the start of this season. Strange. Something has definitely changed in that system, because this wasn't our issue last year. We had other issues. The issues were defensive, not getting shots. Yeah, I agree. So only Berryvale comes off in the credit, but I do agree with Bingo. Actually, I think it might be time to try 2 strikers. Maybe that's what we need to try. I think we're at a point we need to try something new. Sean M. Mikey Moore is used to playing against players like Coventry. Yeah, I agree. That's why I think I was disappointed not to see Spence as well. Maybe like a star player who's done it in like a star championship player against a championship side. There's some merit in saying, they know how to play against these guys, and he's not been given the chance. At least Avalon Sunday, at least 10 loose passes. Looks like they haven't played together much at all. Agree, mate. I think that's actually what you said there sums up how I feel about Tottenham in the final third this season. Like, I think our build-up play from the back is pretty good now. We don't lose the ball. I don't feel nervous that often playing out the back. But going forward in the final third, you think, is this the first time you lot have seen each other? There's that famous clip, don't you see, of Dimitar Berbatov, who is one of the most intelligent footballers you'll see and technically gifted footballers you see. And he goes through one of his best goals for Man United. And he talks about it all being about knowing where your teammate's going to be next. So he's like, I know Nani's got the ball. I know Nani will take on his man, do a few step overs, beat his man. So he's like, so therefore I'm going to stand here on the pitch, not here on the pitch, because I've got to wait for him to do his little step over thing and cut inside. Then I know Rooney's going to get the ball and he always crosses it here. So I'm in that spot. You know what I mean? There's that like dynamism of where your teammate's going to be. Whereas for us, I kind of feel like none of them have any idea where the next guy's going to be. So they run into channels and alleys and there's never a ball put in front of them. And they're never putting balls in for each other. Yes, those stats are damning. Sean and Psycho. Yeah, mate, they are. Kulu for Saar. Good shout. Some for Werner. Yeah. And then more maybe at 60 minutes. I agree. And I hope we don't wait to 60 minutes to make those first changes. I think we need to do it now. Yeah, I know what you're saying. We don't have any fit strikers, so actually we can't play 2 up front. So, but I think what Bingo was saying is like that might be an option when we do have. Oh no, we do have Son and Slanky. I think that's what he's saying. Is let's give Son and Slanky a go. We've got to try something new. We have one Slanky and we're making him nothing. Yeah, we have. This is part of the problem with Richarlison again, because I think like this is where, even though he's not a £65 million player, he is probably a 10 to 20 million pound player. And having that backup option on your bench for these kind of situations is so important. And we don't have that. Bingo, my logic is simple. Everyone complaining we're not shooting. Then why in the hell we keep putting Johnson and Werner who aren't good enough? Why not put Son and Solanke together as a link-up pair up front? So what would we do with the formation then? So you'd have Son and Solanke up front, and what, just not play a 10 and then play what, Kulusevski right wing? Who are you saying on the left wing? Because Richarlison's injured. It's a difficult one to know what you're doing there, because I don't know if we have enough players to make it work. Although I agree a formation change would be the right thing to do. Ange v. Beeble. Look, Lee, I'm very pro Ange, but I have to give you credit for that, mate. I think it's a good use of Yeah, it's a good one, though. Make the subs at half time, except the Moore one. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like you said earlier, Howard. I think Kulu for Sarr and Son for Werner has to be two, because even if that means it still leaves the option open for switching up the formation with those players on the pitch, because Kulu can go into a 10 role if he needs to, and Son can go up front as well. So it just gives you a good number of options that way. So I completely agree. But at the moment, guys, it's not looking good, is it? I think this game is one where Ange just has an opportunity here to say to people, hey, yes, it's only Coventry, but look, my system works. Give me some bloody time. Roll on to Brentford with some confidence. Pick up a win there. And then suddenly people are going, you know what? We might have said it all a bit too early about Tottenham and Ange. Maybe they are going to lose against City and Arsenal and that this season, but they've had a tough start in terms of fixtures and they'll be all right. Let's go take the piss out of Man United and Chelsea instead for a while. But if we lose this, we're the butt of every joke for another 3 days at least. And then going into a Brentford game, which goes from a should win to well, it is really a must win. But like you lose those two and it's getting pretty toxic, isn't it? It gets pretty toxic then. Where to now for Werner? He's not up to standard. I agree, Luke. I was disappointed when we signed him. I think the only reason we kept Werner is because we've signed Yang and we've kept Moore, and both those players wanted first team assurances. And by signing a longer term option, and we've got Odebo, who's a young winger, by signing a senior winger in that position, it blocks the pathway of those three players, limits their game time more. So I think that's the only reason why we got Werner on loan. But I don't like stopgaps. I think a stopgap means you're not good enough now, and we don't think you're going to be good enough later. So what's the point? I'd just rather we ran out Mikey Moore, because the difference between Mikey Moore and Werner is 2 or 3 goals over a season, i.e. one's going to score 2 or 3 and one's going to score 1 or 2. What's the point in bringing in Werner? Just develop Mikey Moore and give him a platform to ready himself for next season. Luke, yeah, you've read that one. So Bingai, Slanky, 19 goals last season. Son, 17 goals. That's a good point. Actually, Sonny did have a underappreciated goal record last season. So that's 36 goals between them. Why don't we put them 2 up front? I'm starting to think, Bingai, you might think we need to play as 2 strikers, mate. Starting to think you might be thinking that. No, I on a serious note, mate, I think I'm open-minded to it, but I think it's the same thing as we've got with this argument about playing a back 3. We don't have the depth to get away with it, because one injury, and who's the backup option then? You leave yourself in a really difficult situation. So I think you're right. Ange would like to do that, but I don't think he has the squad depth to get away with it yet. But fine, I get what you're saying. Just do it for 20 minutes then, just to get the game over the line. It's infuriating that Werner is taking up Moore's minutes. Mate, I agree, Lee. I'd much rather Moore was playing than Werner. But I think Moore's more of a right wing, but still, I would rather see that. But I guess, yeah. If we lose this, I will be upset, not Ange out, but Spurs fan upset. Howard, yeah, I agree, mate. I'm like I said before, I'm nowhere near Ange out, but I still think he deserves criticism when needed, like any manager would. Not even criticism to Ange, it's probably the wrong way to look at it. It's kind of more like you're allowed to show your frustration and anger, like it's your football club. You're a fan of a football club. You are invested in it. Spencer's coming on, by the way. I'm glad we're making some halftime subs. You are completely within your right to say, I still back a manager, but I'm not happy with some of the decisions they've made. And I'm not happy with the way we're playing. But I think that person can turn it around. That's completely fine, mate. And I agree with you. You are entitled to be pissed off, even if you still support him. This manager has signed Werner 2 times. Odebert, Craig David, Ronnie, mate, I'm being an idiot. Who is Craig David? On that joke, Craig David Johnson, shocking. Mate, I'm not a Werner fan at all. So there's some things I will defend Ange on, some things I won't. So the things I'll defend him on is I believe in what he's trying to build the team to do. I believe in most of his signings that he's made, but the ones I do not agree with, and the number one of those is Timo Werner. I just never understood that signing. for the salary he's on as well. Just, get rid, as they say. Bin guy, I'll drop Solanke as Craig David. Right. Okay, now I see it. I don't think Craig David's a shocking player then, Ronnie, in that case. But we had this striker before. I don't remember him. He came from our academy. He was on loan at Millwall for a bit and Leicester for a bit. He could never score in August. And he was pretty rubbish in September as well. I think he went to a German club. But anyway, I think you got to give it. What I'm trying to say is I think like that Kane took 6 weeks to get going in a season. I think in Solanke's first season, we've got to give him a few months at least to bed him because he's in a team that isn't taking any shots at all. I don't really put it on Solanke at this point, although Craig David is a great name for him. I'll drop this crap 4-2-3-1 formation and change to a 4-3-1-2. Manners at 10, Solanke and Son strikers. I'm starting to think you want 2 strikers, big guy. Yes, I think it's worth going, mate. But I would actually. I'm so unimpressed with Madders this season that I would probably go with Berryvale as a 10 for a bit, or Kulusevski. Second half start, by the way, and Spencer's on, yes. So this is going to be interesting. I'm glad he's made a half-time substitution we needed to. He's come on through Dogie, if you're wondering who he came out for, which is also interesting because that means he must be playing left wing. Yeah, he's playing on the left. Stuart Austin, Mark Robbins is a much better manager than Ange. Timo on 170k larger week. I'm not sure about the Mark Robbins bit, mate, but Timo on 170k a week. All I can say is whoever Timo Werner's agent is, I want him to work for me as well because he clearly is a very clever man who can make you a lot of money. Yes, Avalon, Solanke's off the ball work was good. He did press really, really hard. We've been caught on the break, not on a counter here. No, we won the ball back. Is it a foul? No, it's not. It's great play by Archie Gray. They won the ball back. Bentancur's pushing forward and it's intercepted. Off the ball work, nobody cares, to be honest. Well, it depends because it's a high press system like City and Liverpool and us all play. So you do need some off the ball work. But I get it. Actually, Solanke just did a beautiful bit of play there. Go on. It's Johnson. And that sums up Johnson. But it's won a corner at least. I think off the ball work's important, but it's not as important as obviously being a good technical player who can score goals. But it's like you'd rather have a prime Gareth Bale who's not great off the ball than you would have a prime. Who was that defensive striker Liverpool had? Dirk Kuyt. Well, of course, you'd much rather the one that doesn't work as hard, but is technically gifted. But I still think it's worth giving some credit for working hard. Lee Lo Celso scored 2 for Betis on his debut tonight. Mate, corner for Spurs. Good header in. Mate, we all know the situation with Lo Celso. For everyone else, he's fucking Iniesta, Xavi type player. And for us, he turns into Jack Wilshere. Just embarrassing. To be fair, I think we persisted with that guy for so many years. We went through 5 managers with him and no one could get it work with him. So frustrating. So frustrating with him. You can see why Poch did sign in Ndombele and Lo Celso when you look purely at their highlight reels looking back. It's just such a shame. I just never really got the impression they wanted to be at our club. Maybe North London's a massive letdown when you live in Argentina. I don't know. Howard, not the sub I would have made. No, I agree. Kulusevski would be on that pitch for me right now. Kulusevski and Son would both be on that pitch for me right now. Someone made an interesting point about Pep. This is from Sean. Even he tweaked his style slightly over the first season. His reason was the Premier League is not like any other league. You have to adjust. No, I agree. Look, Pep is the innovator of the league. I think James Alcott did the best analogy of Pep. All the managers are zigzagging, like their tactics change like that, and they're all trying to chase. And Pep's at the front. When Pep zigs, everyone zigs. When then Pep zags and everyone zags, and he's reinventing formations all the time. The positive I'd say is Ange has changed formations multiple times in his career, depending on which teams he was managing. He went 3 at the back for a while, most notably. Actually went to more of a Conte style system for a while, where that was kind of seen as like innovative football. And that did make a positive improvement for them against better sides. But I do think he must be looking at this and thinking, you know what, something has to change. But I don't know if it's as simple as just changing a formation, right? Because you look at Pep's teams on paper and you go, nothing's really changed. It's the same formation, but it's the intricacies of how they play. It's like, what are the wing backs doing? What are the fullbacks doing? He's playing at 4 centre backs for a while, right? Like, where are they pushing up to out off the ball? It's more about all that kind of element to the game rather than just changing a formation. Howard Bedvell, sheesh, left back is not the prop. They just had a shot there. Dragusin with a great tackle. Just close my window. Spurs Simpsons. I've seen you before. Good evening, young Ross. Good to see you again, mate. Ross has been on our pod a few times. Spurs Simpsons on Twitter. You may have come across the man himself a few times in the past. Top man. Howard says Lo Celso had his chance and did F all apart from on the bench. Agree, mate. Completely agree of getting rid of him. I just think it's just one of those things we'll look back on and be like, just a classic of one of those players that's good wherever he goes, but not us. Maybe it's just a Premier League thing that just doesn't suit him. The fact I'm a minute behind on the game, I think most of you aren't watching the game, which is good, but at least one of you is going to be, and it's going to absolutely screw me, isn't it? If they score, I'm going to see the comments kicking off. Another corner from Coventry. Actually, we dealt with that well, to be fair. Right, come playing out the back. Forster to Davies to Spence on the left. So Gray's, no, that's Davies to Dragusin. Good play from Johnson. He's actually taken on his man there and beaten him. He's tried a forward ball. It hasn't quite worked, but he's laid it off now to Spence, who's attacking in their box. Johnson screaming for it in space in the box, and no one's passed it to him. Okay, Fernand's got the ball, and we know what happens next. He can't beat his man. He's running backwards. He's still running backwards, and he's been fouled. No, he's lost the ball. Werner's just lost the ball, given it away. And now the opposition are launching a counter-attack, and Forster saves. And that all came from the bizarre signing of Timo Werner. Just get him off. Agree, Dutch grass, Stu. Get him off. Werner. I know, Spurs, I agree. I've tried to give Werner so much rope, but he's just not the guy. It's such a shame. But, yeah. It is just at least play Mikey Moore. Yeah, I agree. Put Johnson on the right and Moore on the left, or even the other way around. Just get Werner off. Psycho Fox, it is embarrassing, mate. It is embarrassing, mate. Bomb squad, says Ross Campbell. We're just getting dispossessed endlessly. So we've been dispossessed again in the middle of the park there. We've won the ball back. No, they've got it back again. It's really not good performance at all. Do you know what this kind of reminds me of? We were in the Conference League and we went in out the group stage. It reminds me of one of those performances, I hate to say it. Like, Jose then picked, like, on the team, you're like, oh, yeah, we got Lo Celso, we got Dele Alli, and Ndombele's good in his day. You know, he's started for Tongan. We'll be all right. We'll get through this. And we messed up. And I just feel like it's a bit like that. Corner to Coventry. Sarr off and Kulu on. Yeah, agree. Has that just happened already? You saying? Let's see. A minute behind. But if it hasn't just happened, I agree that needs to happen. Sarr off and Kulu on. Son and Kulusevski need to be on the pitch. Werner does not need to be on the pitch. Forster spills the ball. Yeah, Forster indeed, mate. Right, so Coventry, yeah, it was terrible, Ross, mate. So if you didn't see that, basically, they just had a pretty standard corner. One you'd expect the goalkeeper just to catch. It was nothing threatening. Oh my God, is that a red card? Are they going to score? Jeez, they nearly scored. That was what you were talking about. What a mess. So we cleared the ball back to the middle of the pitch. They pushed back with a counter. I'm just watching it now. So yeah, their keeper just hoofs it up. Their players beat our high line. Dragusin heads the ball, goes to head the ball back to Forster, sorry. So Dragusin goes to head the ball back to Forster. But Forster's come clambering out like a big oak. He's outside the box and just trips over Dragusin. So there's not a goalkeeper or centre back there. They're just falling over each other outside the box. Proper messy stuff. And they nearly scored from it. They got a corner from it. But it's, yeah, what the actual fuck? What a mess. Run me to buy Davies Christmas present. Yeah, agree, mate. Bentancur needs to come off for anyone. Mate, I think there's a lot of players that need to come off for anyone. But the problem is we can't take them all off. I'd pretty much, if you could, swap everyone except for Dragusin and Berryval and Davies. I mean, they've been okay. Berryval's been a lot quieter in the second half. I'm going to go get another beer in a sec, and it's going to make you jealous if you're not having one because I've put the glass in the freezer for like 45 minutes. So it's going to be all that beautiful, like smoky look. I got a nice little bottle in there all ready to go. It's going to be beautiful. I don't normally drink at home, but I thought I was just doing this for the first time. Treat myself to a little me time. Go on. So playing out the back. I think like we've already got to the point in the game where it doesn't matter if we win 3-0 now. There's a big cloud over the performance today. All that matters now is just getting the win. Because if you lose and play badly, it's going to be so toxic. It's going to be so bad. If you win and you play badly, there's a bit of, okay, let's see how we get on next week. Right, no one's going away buzzing, but they're kind of like, yeah, let's see how we do next week. It takes the sting off it, doesn't it? But going out this cup, I think we've gone to a point of view. Werner's attacking on the left. Do we know what that means? It means we lost the ball. No, he crossed it and then we got a corner, to be fair. Yes, Howard. I do have a cold, Ross. I've had this new stupid COVID strain that went around. And I haven't really been getting any. I've been working very late nights and then trying to fit in the pod. Oh, we nearly scored. Oh, off the line. What? That was like. I can only describe that as a Tim Krul against Tottenham save, for goodness sake. Like, not that it was like miles away from the keeper, just that it was so fast. How did he even see that? Jeez, we should be 1-0 up there. But better. Come on, boys. Let's do this. But yeah, else question. Yes, I had to have a cold, had this COVID thing. Oh my God, just giving away a complete hospital pass, Bentancur. Spencer's just fallen over trying to defend. We've blocked a shot from them. Okay, they're just about 40 yards out now. Oh, phew, they skied their shot. That was a mess, though. We went from one end of thinking, yes, we should have scored, we're back in this, to just that shite show. Yeah, it was Davies with the header, kid off the line with the keeper. It wasn't actually that amazing save, and you look back, to be fair, but we still should have scored. We should be 2 down, Deej says. Mate, agree. Well, yeah. No, I was going to try to defend that, and I can't. No. Yeah, it goes straight to penalties now as well, doesn't it? That'll be a mess. I don't want that. Are having us up. Coventry are having us up badly. Mate, they are. It's embarrassing. It is actually generally quite embarrassing. Am I turning into Mark Goldbridge? But the Tottenham version. But it is really embarrassing. I need some Tottenham happiness in my life. And that only really comes from us winning football matches. And it's just, yeah, can be a bit of a struggle. Oh, yes. Okay. So Sonny's coming on and Madison's coming on. Whilst they come on, I'm going to run and grab my super cold beer and hopefully make you very jealous of how good it looks. And you're going to hear that beautiful sound as it comes out of the bottle and goes into the cast. So go get one yourselves, because we're going to order a drink together as we celebrate Madison setting up Sonny for a beautiful goal on the 68th minute. I've called it. Be back in 10 seconds. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Well, there's my glass of beer to celebrate Coventry's goal. For fuck's sake. Oh. Fuck. Spurs Simpsons, though. Let's change the subject because that's shite. I don't want to talk about that. That was a good cross, beat the offside trap. It was a beautiful run. Good goal. Shouldn't be conceding those, though. It's Championship side, for goodness sake. But just a quick side topic. Spurs Simpsons, as you're in the chat, mate. Does that like a Duff beer to you? I think it does. It's beautiful, isn't it? Oh, not, wait, the camera's there. What am I doing? I'm in there. A Duff beer. It's nice. Shit. It's not good, is it? It's getting a bit. Let's just check the stats. See how many shots we've had now, if any. So, match stats. We've had a whopping 1 shot on target and 0 shots on target, but 2 shots. Doesn't make any sense. We've had 1 shot. We've had 1 shot and 71% possession. So we've now scored 2 goals, but we've had 1 shot all game. It was a good goal, Sean, to be fair. Lee, who are we bringing in next? Potter. Look, can I just humour Lee for a bit, guys? Like, I'm not saying Ange out. I'm still Ange in, but hypothetically, Lee, Daniel pulls the trigger. I think I hate to say it, mate. I just think it's destiny that one day bloody Thomas Tuchel's going to have to manage us. And I'm going to feel like I did when we had Nuno. But I'll get on with it. And you know what? If someone like that managed us, it'd probably be like the one-day Ramos here. It'd probably win us something and would be diabolical in the league. So you take it as what it is. Need something stronger than Duff. Yeah, I fucking do, mate. If we're gonna go further down, if we concede another goal, I think the whiskey's coming out, mate. And I've got to be on the train tomorrow, like 7 for work. It was a good goal, this Sean, but still, it's not. Still, like I get it's a good goal, yeah, but I think the issue lies with, once again, 1 shot. Like, we should be 4 goals up and being like, oh, fair play, Championship side got a goal back. That's their trophy for this season. They scored against Premier League side. Shouldn't be getting a winning goal against us. Why not try Son, Slanky, Madison? Why is Werner still on? We've got any subs left? I mean, if you look at the subs we've made already, we've made 4 subs. You can only make 3 phases of subs, and I think we've made 3 because the Odebear injury. I'm not sure we can do more, can we? Yeah, great, mate. I'm not fan of. Mate, yeah, Howard. Like, if Alonso, yeah, of course, that would be amazing. But he's never going to come to Spurs. Just can't see a world in which Alonso ever comes to Spurs. But I think he's Real Madrid bound. He's Ancelotti's successor to rebuild that club. Bing Guy says Kazan sucks, mate. I'm believing Bing Guy. We're not going to agree on that one, are we, mate? One of us is going to be wrong here. But I think we both hope you're wrong, because obviously Andrew working out's better. But while he's our manager, let's just stick with him. Otherwise, it just gets bloody miserable, doesn't it? But why the hell would he come? Well, no, I generally think Alonso is just he's just primed for Real Madrid's job. He's not going to come to anyone else. Yeah, more still on the bench. I think that's a big shame. Would have been a good game for more. So we're sent to make Coventry's night. Unless we do something in the next 20 minutes. They're just... The thing is, they're not even like... It's not like they've scored a goal and they've shut up shop. They're going for a second. They're going for a second, guys. Deej says, this is the worst performance I've seen from us in a long time. Every time a Coventry winger runs by the byline, I lose a little bit of sanity knowing that should be what we do, but we don't. I don't remember the last time a winger has run forward with the ball. I agree. I think I saw 1 run from Johnson. He ran once. I'm clutching straws here. We had a shot. Spence had a shot. And we end on a high and just all stop watching and just go to bed and just reminisce over that shot. Daniel Levy is in the crowd, being panned on right now with Scott Munn. They look like twins, don't they? They look pretty pissed off. They're doing that thing, that like awkward, like executive businessman thing. What should we do about it? Do we give them another 200 million quid, or do we just shut up our coffers and let them fail? Vimmer scored against Celtic, according to Spurs Simpsons. Why are Tottenham players always doing so well when they leave us? Howard Bedvelt, defenders take more shots than our front three. That's Howard, you've stumbled across a brilliant stat. Our defenders have taken more shots than our entire front three tonight. Think I might steal that. Say I came up with it. Go woke, you become broke. Hello, mate. Good to see you again, man. I know you tune into our long form quite a lot. Non-live stuff. Sorry to say this, guys, but we've been very poor. I remember one chance we've had, and Werner and Johnson are like having 9 men. Nothing comes from them. Can't disagree. Werner and Johnson, they're just not wingers that take them out on, are they? Like if you had Kevin De Bruyne in midfield, which we don't, and he was threading through beautiful passes onto their runs, you'd be like, yeah, they're good subs. Bring them on. They'll run the lines. They'll get on the end of through balls, and they'll put in a decent cross. Well, Werner won't. No, just no to everything on Werner. But Johnson will put in the odd good cross and get on the end of the odd cross as well. But yeah, give these players to Harry Redknapp. Well, that's an interesting one. Well, less Johnson and Timo, you're saying, and the team would fly. I think that's kind of the element of, well, when Redknapp came in, I don't know, like, I feel like Redknapp would take the shackles off, but I don't think they're overly shackled, these guys. I don't see it like them being overly rigid. They're told to keep pushing forward and be dynamic and fluid, but something is missing, and I don't think anyone's really quite figured out what that is. Like, I haven't heard anyone. There's a lot of tactical podcasts, like really good ones, like The Athletic. We listen to the tactical one that goes into a lot of depth, and they can't seem to figure out what it is. But there's just something missing in that last little bit. Like then, it's why the XG is always. I don't know, watching the game. Can you make something up where we score so I can feel better, mate? We did have a shot 10 minutes ago from Spence from 40 yards. So I'm still buzzing about that one, actually. Oh, manager like Harry. Yeah, mate, fair play. I get what you mean. Just someone who's cut all the complexity, let players play. I think every side... is Werner injured now? Is his biggest contribution going to be an injury? Brighton are winning. Brighton are winning 3-1 against Wolves now, which is while Werner's injury. Just look at this. They're playing beautifully. Well, that goal was okay. They're just playing beautiful football. Yeah, make up something. Well, Werner's injured, so I think we've all decided tonight that's brilliant news, isn't it? If we had any subs left, we could bring more on, but it doesn't mean now we're going to play with 10 men, right? I don't think we have any subs left. I might be wrong. I cannot believe Werner is still on the pitch. Well, don't worry, Shafay. He's got off injured. It looked like he got kicked there from a clearance. Oh, he's going to continue, for goodness sake. The kit man has a decent shave on his head. Howard looks good in that outfit. And it's all shiny under the lights. Yeah, mate. He does. People always rip on the kit mat. Oh, Kulu's on. Good stuff. People always rip on kit men. But I'm sorry, that is a brilliant job. That is a brilliant job. Imagine getting to hang out with all your like getting to chill it all day in the football club you support. All you have to do is take the laundry out, and you get to travel to all the games, put the laundry in the bag, take it with your Kula good attack. You get to know everyone. Yeah, you get to go home and away. You're working and you're getting paid for it. It's pretty much no pressure. You've got one job. Hard to mess it up. Kitman would be a sweet job for a Premier League team. I think if you're like in the Championship or below, you just get pelters all the time. Ange must really shout to Werner to do something if he's still on the pitch and today. Yeah, I'd do the job too. Go woke, become broke. I just realised every time I say your name, I might annoy someone else, because that's one of those sayings that some people like and some people don't. But hey, it's your name. I'm not taking sides. I'm just saying your name on there. Franz, Ange must really shout to Werner to do something if he's on the pitch. Yeah, I've read that one. Third keeper or Kit Ma? Oh, one sec. They're going forward again. Oh my god. Oh my god, they nearly scored. Oh, it's offside. The universe wouldn't allow any outcome except penalties now, though, would it? But they should. That was such close to being a goal. It was really so close to being a goal. It's Tottenham, so we have to go through. We can't. We're not allowed to lose normal way. We have to lose on penalties, right? Oh, come on, Spurs. Draxon. Yes. Good hold-up play. We had another shot. There you go. We shot. Maddison had a shot from 35 yards. And slightly tested the keeper and only missed the goal by several yards. Great. It was pants effort. It was a pants effort. I can't watch Forster and Pens again. Neither can I. Neither can I. And then it really brings home the criticism of why on earth did we drop Vicario? That was one rotation too many for this game. I'll ask it. Oh, sorry, Ross, I missed your Spurs Simpsons. I'll ask it better. Which job is better, kit man or third choice goalkeeper? Vote on that, guys, in the comments. Can I do a poll on here? Can I make a poll? Let me go on as like the show owner person in the little live stream thing. See if I can make a poll. I don't think I can make a poll. Oh, yeah, I can. Oh, here we go. What's the better job? Here we go. Did they just nearly score again? They did. Kitman. Third choice keeper. There you go. We're doing a poll. Yeah, they nearly scored again. I'm just trying not to. I'm trying to distract us from it because it's. If we do actually fear, the reason I fear for Ange, I think he's a way away from Daniel Levy being on that page. I think he's safe for the foreseeable because I don't think there's a sensible, viable solution apart from that. And I think it's like we've gone through all the pain to get the squad to this point and build it to this point, and to rip the plaster off now, it's just no benefit. I think you got to see through them. You got to see through the next. You got to see through the season, really. Like it or lump it. I think we get angry at that situation because we went into the season thinking this was going to be a big step up on last, and so far it hasn't been. And I get why that's really annoying. But we've got to give the guy this season at least. And as I remind people, it was fucking, was it 10 points from 10 games Arteta had or whatever it was, and they were 15th in the league at Christmas, and they stuck with him those last few months when everyone was, oh, we nearly scored. Oh, we nearly scored again. Oh, Kulu. Oh, Kulu. Oh. So nearly scored. Bit of a scramble in the box, but Kulusevski had 2 shots from about 6 yards there. Didn't score. It's our corner now. I can't believe it either, mate. Kitman, 50%. Third choice goalkeeper, 50%. Well, there you go, Ross. Both are pretty good. I think I'll go for Kitman. I'll go for goalkeeper. Because you could say you're a Premier League footballer. You're going to get more money. And you're going to be able to do a lot better on the dating scene than being a kit man. Both are good, though. I think if I was married, settled down, happy with my lifestyle, wasn't that money orientated, blah blah blah, kit man. But if I'm in my early 20s, I want to say I'm a Premier League footballer, even if it's a third choice goalkeeper. Is it the lack of the coach that left us? Was it Chris Davies or something like that? Perhaps the guy who trained the forwards? Yeah, there was the set. Well, there was 2, wasn't there? There was Chris Davies, the coach, and then there was the Italian set piece coach as well. I think they both left. Yeah, and that was a big. I think that's things have definitely gone downhill since those 2 left. I think that's a fair observation. And a lot of the reports say that Ange just trusts his coaching staff to get on with training sessions, and you do wonder if he's got the right people. If this is how we're playing. I'm no fan of Ange, Stuart says, but he couldn't have wanted Gray, Odegaard, and Dom as his main summer signings. Well, jury's out on Odegaard. Annoyingly, he looks really good, and that injury is just annoying timing. Dom, I'm not ruling Dom out yet, or Gray, but I get I see what you're saying, Stuart. I think we spent a lot of money on those guys, and so I don't think they're it's them being shit or Gray being crap. I just think it's when we can only spend £100 million net a season. I say only, but that is what we kind of spend net each. Yeah, you've got to prioritize what you need the most. And I'm excited for what Gray has potential, but I think what we've needed more now was to spend £40 million on a winger who's going to add some immediate value. Giovanni Vio, yeah, that was him. He got sacked, did he? Lee, you're saying he got sacked. I'm going to just check that. I'm not trying to call you out in front of the crowd, mate. Giovanni Vio, coach. Oh, Gianni Vio. No, he's a manager. No, it is Gianni Vio sacked. It said he's staying. He stayed after Sleany left. I can't see anything here about him getting sacked, mate, but maybe you read it somewhere else. I don't know. He's moved on, but I thought he came in with the squad of Stellini and Conte and Era's boys. They left, and he was like, I'm not sticking around, I'm off. So just kind of stopped caring, and we just went, okay, bye then. Vio was under Conte Stellini. Yeah, I agree. I think once Ryan Mason, but once he went from his best mate Conte To Stellini, you must have been a bit like, ugh. Then to Mason, you must be like, I'm not doing this. Stuns going forward of attack. Over to Solanke Johnson, sorry. Every pass behind the man who can score. Yeah. With the money we've spent, how did we not get Eze? But that's what I'm saying, Stuart. So what I was saying earlier was, it's not. I'm not saying like Archie Gray's shit. He's not. Like, he's a good player and all that. But I think when you've got £100 million to spend and that's your limit, it's more important to get someone like Eze in and buy an Archie Gray in January if you can, if you've got the money for it. But like, get the most important players in now who are going to add that significant amount of value right now. Someone's just been booked. Is it a player on the bench just been booked? Is Mikey Moore just been booked? Yeah, he did say a few months, mate. I'm just saying that I think he was probably thinking, I can't wait for my contract to run out so I can go home. He's like an old geezer, Italian guy who came over to help Conte out. And then he was stuck with Stellini, who's probably still a mate of his. And then he's stuck with Mason. He's probably thinking, get me out of here. Sorry. He's at Watford now. Well, then I take that back because he hasn't rushed back to Italy. We did get rid of him. He's gone to bloody Watford. Yeah, well, I think we're out again. Yeah, we are. First round of the League Cup. It's going to be... all I can recommend is you don't turn on TalkSport. You just have to accept that it's going to be a really shitty 3 days until the next game. Because I think a lot of us fans, me included, the League Cup's not a joke to me anymore. It's a trophy I would be on the high road with the players, cheering them on if we won it. Oh, you lot in the chat are saying something's happened. Spency boy, get in there. Yes. I'm so glad that came from Spence. I am so glad that came from Spence. I am so fucking happy that came from Spence. Get in there. Get in there. Let's do this. Oh no, we've got penalties. There's no extra time anymore, is there? Fuck. Come on, boys. Oof. Audacious from Sarr, but also very wasteful. I love that, Howard. I won't say Spencer saved Ange, but what I'll say is the quote, Spence is saving Ange and Ange is saving Spence, is quite a good one. For the next couple of minutes anyway. We are Tottenham. Super Tottenham. I agree. Not going to lie, I sing that chant in the bricklayers and the ground, but it's not the most... I think we could do better. Right, so money on extra time, boys. Predictions and girls. It was in the comments. Securio plays. Welcome and coys to you too, mate. Shafay, mate. Our top boy member, and hello to you again. Legend for being a new member today. I don't want pens either. I don't like them at all, especially with 4-string goal. So, yeah. Ange made a huge error not having Spence in the Europa League squad. Franz says, I do kind of agree. Like, it's not going to like make or break the Europa League for us or anything crazy like that, but I think he should be in it. Should have been in it, for sure. I don't think we have any subs left. 4 added minutes. Johnson to miss his penalty. Oh, don't. I know it probably happens, but don't. I don't think the last time, like, because we had a big international break, obviously. There's been like one night in the last 4 months Tottenham fans have been able to go to bed happy, thinking we won a game, and I'm optimistic about the next week. Because we had the Everton win, but we've not won any games, obviously, because it's been internationals, and we had a bad end to the season. Like, tonight was supposed to be a bit of tonic to just to give me some, like, deluded dreams. You know, for the next couple of days before we play Brentford. And if we beaten Brentford, then we can all be just really happy for a few days. And we got the Europa, and we can get behind that competition. It would have just set the mood up. I wonder if Forster will save a pen this year. Spurs Simpson says Brennan. I don't know what you mean context-wise for that. Oh, Dutch says BJ. Hello, something happened. Spencer, that is. Coming you Spurs 2-1? Boys, what's happened? I'm 2 minutes behind you. What's happened? Bentancur wins the ball. Bentancur wins the ball. He threw to BJ. It's through to BJ. Yes! 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 The reason I'm talking like that is I've got a 3-year-old who lives in the spare room, which is next door to my office. Get in there. If you could pick 2 players to have scored tonight, there'd be Johnson and Spence. There'd be Johnson and Spence, and they've gone and done it. And I'm so freaking happy it was those 2. And I think quite rightly, someone's going to slide into that comments and go, you know, still problems and shit, whatever, doesn't matter. That's exactly what this team needed, was those 2 players to get on the score sheet, get some confidence back in. Yes, 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 yes. I am far behind, Stu, but my super official Sky Sports package, negotiated to £2.50 a month, is a little bit slower than yours, all right? I don't live in a tax haven like you. Can't afford all these nice... Well, I choose not to spend my money on these nice things because I like silly other things that cost lots of money. Anyway, Ange would have come on and scored the winner if he had to. He would have, mate. I'm so happy. Just literally, if you gave me, you said 20 minutes ago, you can change the outcome of this match, what are you doing? I'd say I want Spence to equalise. And then I want Brennan Johnson to score a late winner. Just to really piss people off as well and get really arsed. Like, I think it's fine to be like, he's not good enough in terms of being a footballer. You're chatting amongst mates and all that stuff. But I hate the animosity he gets from fans in the ground and on social media, because he's clearly a really, really nice guy who works really, really hard. And all you can ask of your players is they work hard for the club. Yes, that's full time, is it? Needed that. Up the bloody Spurs. Should we do... Right, so that was the first ever live show we've done. Should we continue the format? Any advice you have for me to make it better for next time? I'd really appreciate that. Because what I'm thinking is, I go to all the home games, so we can't do it for that. But I was thinking for all the Europa League games, cup games, fucking and away games. Okay, just, yeah, for all those things, a lot. We can continue to do these. And what we'll do is we'll bring on guests each time. Yeah, just let me know if you want to continue these, because if you don't, that's fine. It gives me 2 hours back in my day to do my other things. But I actually really enjoyed doing it, actually. I thought it was pretty good fun. And I actually enjoyed getting to know a lot of you. So Shafay, legend, mate. I enjoyed getting to speak to Go Woke, You Become Broke, because I know you from the comment sections on our main vids, and it's nice to have a chat with you. Nice to meet Franz and Lee. Lee, I like you challenging. I'm quite a positive guy with Ange and that. And you gave me a bit of healthy discourse there, but you weren't toxic about it. I enjoyed that. Howard was just awesome the whole way through. Legend. Spurs Simpsons, Ross, I know you well, my friend. You are a hero. Dutch Grass, of course, Stu. By the way, guys, Dutch Grass is Stu if you watch the long form pods. He is he's one of the panel on the show. He's a regular, one of the originals, we call each other. So he's always so Spurs and a part of the show permanently. So part of the founders. So yeah. We've got Stuart Austin. Who else do we have? I don't want to leave anyone out. Some people were in there earlier that haven't commented a little bit, but we had some really good chats. Bin Guy, you were very angry, mate. I hope this has brought you some love for Ange, because you didn't like... I know you won't... I don't say it's to win him over, but I hope this can make you go to bed happy, mate. Psycho Fox, mate. You're a legend. I've seen you on our long form as well, I'm pretty sure. You were a bit angry, I hope it's made you happy. But yes, Johnny Boy's in. Johnny Boy is in the chat. Jonathan Adair. How lucky were we? We were not lucky, mate. Game plan, nailed it. 10 out of 10. I can't think if anyone doesn't get a 10 out of 10. No, seriously. It was, I'd say the first 60 minutes of the game, I'd give a 2 out of 10. The last 30 minutes, I'd give an 8 out of 10. Is that because they sat back against us? Everything else, I don't really care, because I think football is about moments, and you should all enjoy it tonight. Soak it in, love it, because that gives us 3 days of happiness before the next game. And why not? Why can't we go on and beat Brentford? And if we beat Brentford, where does that put us in the table? Let's have a little look, because I completely forgot, even though I did my research before. That puts us back potentially up to 8th. In the table, and that means we're in the next round of the League Cup. So we've done better in the League Cup than we did last season. We've done better against the teams on score-wise than we did last season that we played. So we got a better score against Newcastle and a better score against Arsenal, even though we lost both. Clutching at straws there. But yeah, if we beat Brentford, that puts us into a pretty nice spot. Keeps us on track for the season. And we're going to the Europa. And I think we're pretty excited for the Europa this season, right? Boxing Kangaroo. Love that, mate. And saved by Spence and Johnson. He was, I think, as someone said earlier, Ange has saved Spence and Spence has saved Ange. So I'm going to take that as the quote of the day. The late great escape could be the catalyst to transform our season. It better be, Lee. We need it to be. Because something's been, what confuses me is we had one shot on target in the first 60 minutes, and the last 30 minutes, let's see how many we had. I don't know how many top of my head, but I am betting you it was going to be a hell of a lot more in the last 30 minutes than it was in the previous 60 minutes. Let's have a look. Tottenham Coventry. Scores, stats. Yeah, there you go. We went from 2 shots all game in the first 60 minutes to having 7 shots in the last 30. That's the Tottenham we know. That's the Tottenham we brought Ange Postecoglou in for. That's what we need. Well done, Jimbo, and your Davey. Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's the first one. And like I said, next time we're going to bring Johnny or Stu or Si or DJ on as well and have a bit of a laugh. And if they're not available, I'll do it my own. I don't care. It's good fun, isn't it? Enjoy it. Clement and Jow, you can't say that after a win, mate. You'll never get invited to a stag do or a party in your life if you behave like that, mate. Enjoy yourself when you win. Don't take it too seriously, mate. That's definitely what we needed as a club. There's been a confidence issue in that team, big time. And that confidence today is perfect timing for Brentford, because Brentford are no mugs, as they would say. Pep's quotes after the last game were they were blown away by how good Brentford were. And if you look at their results, they've had no easy fixtures and they've come out of them very competitively every time this season. They're built for a counter-attack as well. So that's our biggest test of the season in many ways, is Brentford. Obviously, Arsenal's the biggest, but I think it's the second biggest test of the season. So getting some confidence for that matches. Yeah, but snatched victory from the jaws of defeat, Sean. I like that. Do you know why? Because we're so used to Spurs snatching defeat from the jaws of glory. And isn't it nice to see Spurs snatch victory from the jaws of defeat for once? I think everyone should be much happier with that and not see it necessarily as all a bad thing. Hip noise. Sorry, watching on TV now on the computer. Just the score on the screen, and at the time, that all I needed. But love your talk. Thank you, mate. We do all the long form stuff as well. It's a first time trial. This. I thought I was going to have to deactivate all my social media accounts for a minute, Simon. Mate, I'm already. So if you don't know, guys, we've got a little Twitter community that's invite only. Well, you have to apply. So go on go on X and you'll see Oso Spurs, the Twitter profile. And there's a community pinned at the top. If you click on that, you can apply to join. So what I can do is when people apply, I check and make sure there's none of this toxic, angry shit in there. And I let happy people, positive people, not, just people who aren't going to be knobs to each other. There's a huge fly in my room. So it's a little bit of a space where not everyone doesn't have bloody meltdowns when we lose. So it's quite a nice little happy spot. So if you'd like to join that, I don't get anything for it. It's just a bit nice to have a bit of a safe place on Twitter that's not full of, cesspit. So yeah, you're welcome to join that. That's all good. So just go on there and find it. Boxing Kangaroo. The Coventry game was never ever going to be easy. Supporters need to. I do agree it was never going to be easy, mate. But I think it's fair to say one shot in 60 minutes was pretty disappointing. But look, not taking the shine off, because the last 30 minutes was back to the Tottenham we knew. Take those last 30 minutes into 90 minutes against Brentford and we'll be fine. Take those last 30 minutes for 90 minutes against anyone this season, I think we'll be all right. I think we'll be in the top 5 as planned. So yeah. I bought an Electrify fly swatter recently. Yeah, mate, those are good. Where are you? You're in Australia, though, aren't you? Go woke. Or become broke. You're in Australia, right? Brentford is no, mate. Sean, it's going to be hard, mate. We were talking earlier who our next manager would be, and let's say Ange wins a trophy of Spurs, goes on to his next thing. Dream scenario, he does that because he does his 3 years and he wins stuff and he goes, completed it, mate. I'm off. Who do we get next? Thomas Frank's not a bad shout. He was heavily linked with us before. He's absolutely no mug. He's not an old coach. He's inventive. He's proactive, and he's a really good connection with his fans. I wouldn't be against that. I certainly a lot worse you could do than Thomas Frank. That's for sure. We can continue this on for a little bit longer if you want, or we can end it. I don't really mind. But the viewers are going up because I think everyone's happy because we won. So let's fucking continue. Let's do it. So let me get your comments back up because I've taken them off, guys. Cool. 2 successful crosses from 17 attempts. These rest desperately, Jordan. It does, mate. I think there's the positives to me in that game. Like we said, the last 30 minutes, the front 3 finally started creating things. They were linking up. We were shooting. We had 7 shots in 30 minutes versus 2 shots in the previous 60. That was really good, right? That was really positive. And I still think Coventry were attacking us. It wasn't like they'd sat back. So that was really, really positive. The negatives are the lack of efficiency on crosses, that slow start in terms of number of shots. But yeah, I don't want to focus too much on negatives because we just won a game of football. And I think you should judge your team on the most recent, phase of play they've had. And the last 30 minutes they played was good. So let's focus on that for now. Decky coming on. Decky might be our best player, Greg. I agree, mate. Gregorino. He was the most important sub of the day. I'd say he made the biggest difference. Obviously, it seems crazy to say that because Spence and Johnson came as a sub to score, but I think Kulusevski was the one who turned a front three that wasn't creating anything into a front three that started to create things. MS, painful watch. A decade on, we still use Ben Davies, sideways pass kings. MS, mate, I imagine you've been a top Spurs fan your whole life. You've travelled home and away. You've ploughed your heart, soul, money, energy into this club. Given everything. You've probably backed 20 different managers relentlessly. And you just can't. You're just like, I've seen this before. I'm not doing it again. But I'm sorry, mate. I disagree with you. I think that was a positive performance from Ben Davies and a positive last 30 minutes in the game. And that being negative about that after a comeback win, mate. Come on. Enjoy it. That is the perfect tonic for a game in the Premier League on Saturdays, to come out of it with a bit of positivity like that. Like you've found there's been some questions answered for Ange, I think, as well. And I think one of those will be that Timo Werner is not someone that should be taking part in the squad seriously. Frank has definitely proved himself, but Brentford are a well-run, organised club. They've lost Tony, and you never know. I agree, mate. And a lot of this is like, I think nowadays in modern football, the big difference is you don't have this kind of approach of great manager equals successful football club. It's not just that simple. It's like you have to have a great club structure, then a great club structure from a business level, which we do very well at. A great recruitment structure. I think we're improving. Still got some issues, definitely improving. And then you need a great manager. You need all three linking up simultaneously. Meta Football TV's back. Yes, mate. Good to see you. Good chatting to you earlier on X as well. I've always maintained that Brennan is better running into space. So happy for him. I agree, mate. Brennan isn't the type of guy who's going to go take on his man, twinkle toes, step overs, beat him. But there's pictures of him there pretty much crying, and the interview is coming on now. Do you want to listen to it?
First of all, Brennan,
can you hear that?
That was a difficult night.
Yeah, it was really difficult. I think there wasn't kind of one part of us that underestimated Coventry as a team. Me personally, Archie as well, and even Jed as well. We played against Coventry a few times, and we know they play good football. And I think we were well aware of what they could bring. And at times, I just thought we kind of let them off too easy. We gave them too many chances to kind of get at us, especially after they scored. Felt like we were under some real pressure. But yeah, at the end of the day, we're going to always keep going.
Yeah, Archie, you got over the line. There's a lot of a lot of kickaways though, wasn't there? There's a lot of losing possession, even though you had a lot of possession, just didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, it's a difficult place to come. Played there last year, and even at our ground last year, I was playing. They always bring a tough game, and they always, lots of transitions, and that's the way they play. And they did well this game, and the fans got behind them, and they brought a good game to us, and credit to them. But we always knew that we had what it took to take it right to the end. But yeah, they did very well, and I thought the game plan was executed very well as well. So yeah.
There were moments though in the match. There was chaos, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think probably that's happened too many times this season for us. It has been a bit too chaotic. Obviously, we play a certain style of football, but I think tonight, as you said, we gave the ball away too many times. We kind of didn't really execute the pass we wanted to make. We weren't too much of a threat, but I think on the counter attack especially, and when we played the ball quickly, that's what it was. I think in the first half, and for most of the game, to be honest, we didn't play forward enough, and we didn't really pass the ball and get in behind. I think the goals just come from quick play, and that's what we want to do more often, because there's been too many games this season where we haven't done that enough.
Right, I'll tune that off now. But yeah, Brennan clearly recognises that a load of the stuff we're saying there that wasn't really good enough in the game, but also what we need to do more of. So, like, you if you're watching that interview there, it's like I don't know if you've had it before where you've just gone through just like barren luck, be it like at work or in your personal life, whatever, and you get that lifting moment. Something just happens. You just think, that's the breathing space I needed. And it feels like he's just had that moment today. Bentican on event. John Cormack agree. Who else we got? Thinks Lanky will come good, no doubt. Yes, I agree, MS. That's the spirit, mate. And bloody relieved is the best description. Forget Champions League. Yeah, mate, I agree. I think that's the kind of level which is healthy, right? It's like saying, I'm not saying we're going to be Champions League good because we just beat Coventry, but that is some reassurance that the system can work, but there's clearly it needs to work over 90 minutes. It can't work over 20 minutes. But let's take the positives here that we can just continue that into Brentford, beat Brentford at home, then suddenly the season is completely on track again. Some of the players need to play more risky passes and create some havoc. I agree, Perdani82. He says Decky's ball retention is massive and Madders looked good. I agree, mate. I think the ones that played the risky pass actually is Berryval in the first half played some really good forward risky passes. I really like that. But you don't see it from... I mean, it's not really Sarr's game, to be fair. You don't really see it from him. You definitely don't see it from Werner. Some was trying to push Brennan towards the away end. He was having none of it. Poor kid. He's a little butthurt. See what you've done, you toxic fans. So Simon, like, I do think there's a feeling from Brennan of like, you guys have been so, like, it's not just that easy to forgive. Like, and it's not even, why should I forgive you? I just scored a goal after you've been asked to. But anyway, I think it's also maybe it could be that Brennan's thinking, I haven't done enough yet to earn your spot. Maybe he's that driven and that motivated that he thinks he needs to do more. And if he does, everyone should be much nicer about the bloke, because all you can do, as we said before, I keep saying it, I will never, ever dislike a player purely because of their ability. If they wear the shirt with pride and there's blood, sweat and tears into trying to do the right thing, you've got to have some admiration. It's why I will never hate Emerson Royale, even though he was not a great player for us. Did we win? It doesn't, it feels like not. To me, it does though. I feel we needed that uplifting moment. We got it. It's good. Another ex-Spurs player scored tonight. For fuck's sake, was that Lo Celso of 2 goals? Ross, you're saying. I trust Ange though, no doubt. Good man, MS. With you, mate. I get it, mate. Like, the thing is, guys, you understand is some of you who listen to this are fans of Ange Postecoglou. You followed him around the world and you're new to Tottenham. Other people are very experienced at Tottenham, but they're new to Ange. And you've got this polarizing middle ground where the ones who have followed Ange are trying to explain this process and how it happens, and they find the toxicity around and the frustrations around the short-term challenges in getting Ange where he needs to be. Very frustrating. And the other side is the Tottenham fans are like, you guys need to understand as well, we've been through 4-5 managers of absolute misery and hell, and there's not much patience left in the tank. And unfortunately, when Ange walks into a room, there's a ghost of Conte, Jose Mourinho, Stellini, and 2 Ryan Masons, because he managed us twice in that time, above him, where every time one of those guys got in charge, we said, be patient, give it 4 more years. It'll be all right. We've just run out of patience. But I'm fully Ange in, and I'm back, and I'm going to be patient for the next couple of years with him, because I think it's what time he needs. Johnson needs to grow up, Ronnie says. I think he is growing up, mate. I just don't think he's the type of player we as fans want him to be. I don't think it's like his personality per se. I think it's just like he works his arse off, but he's not the style of player we want. You know what I mean? Like, we see clubs we really don't like Arsenal with Saka. We see clubs like Chelsea signing really exciting wingers. and he's not that type of guy, and we spent the money on him that they would have spent on a player we deem more exciting. I think that works against him, but I think attitude-wise, he's pretty grown up. Like, he seems pretty focused based on those interviews today. But I get what I get the frustration though, mate. Late goals like last year's start. Yes, indeed. Maybe we're just clicking into gear. Meta Football TV, Lo Celso got a 9.7 rating. Mental. It's mental. Why? It's just going to... We just know Ndombele is going to win the bloody Champions League at some point, isn't he? Be man of the match. That's Solanke's sub was weird, but we move on to Brentford. Yeah, it was. There were some weird subs, but they worked. We won the game, so we just got to get one of those things of maybe he knows better than us. Anyone else notice as well? This was Sutange. We don't always get Sutange, but I feel like when there's pressure on, he gets in the suit. I'm not sure about the black tie though. It seems a bit funeral, kind of like wake kind of type. Anyway, and teams often have a moment that transform them. So do individual players. Could this be it? I don't think this is like transformational, but I think it could be the result that puts us back into the form we should be this season, which is a top 6 club. So I think it's the kind of performance that puts us into Brentford playing all right and playing decent football again. It's not the type of performance that transforms us and suddenly sees us challenging for a title. But still, it's definitely a good performance. Last 30 minutes, that sets us up for a good performance against Brentford. I wouldn't say the first 60 minutes were a good performance at all. Lo Celso should be paying us back. Notice he's never injured. Yes, he did. I just don't think he liked it here. If you listen to things like Football.London, Ali Gold and all that stuff, he's got all the inside track. He was saying he's a loner type, doesn't like to get involved with anyone. I just don't think culturally fitted in. So there you go. The game is like a reverse image of the 4 games. First 4 games, we performed well and didn't score. Everton aside, this one we performed poorly but scored twice. Yeah. It depends what you want. No, Everton's. Yeah. No, this is controversial. To let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to put a poll out. So, was the performance... We lost the North London derby, so I'd never take that result again. Obviously, it's always shit when you lose, so it's a bad performance because we lost. But like, if you just look at how we played, purely on how we played, was it a bad performance in your opinion? And what I'll do is I will put a poll out because I want to know, did we play badly? Why can't I put a poll out? I need to close the old one. End poll and put a new one in. Here we go. So did we play... Was the performance in isolation bad against Arsenal? Considering, I want to like to caveat this of considering they are the second best team in the league. Because and I'll just put yes. No. I want to know your opinion on that. I can't put all the content in there, but you've heard me say it. What's in isolation? Okay, let's see. Was the performance in isolation? There we go. Right. Was the performance in isolation bad against Arsenal? Like, I want to know, like, was it? Because I didn't think it was that bad. Like, in my view, they are the second best team in the best team in the league, the best league in the world. So that instantly puts them in the top 5 teams in the world. We are not the top 5 team we're the 5th best team in our league, let alone the world. So we're probably like, let's say, 20th in the world. Arsenal are 5th in the world. That's quite a big gap. If you think like international football, that's like the gap between England and probably like 5th. Something like that. Who's 20th? Let's go on FIFA rankings. And I'll tell you. So, fifth is Brazil, fourth is England. So let's just say England were fifth, just because it's easier to put context. 20th is Iran, right? 19th Senegal, 18th Japan. But what I'm trying to say is that's a big gap. Like, we've got a lot of catching up to do. I don't think we didn't last year. We conceded 3 goals in a half against them, and it was like really shit. I kind of felt like you wouldn't have been surprised if we come away with a point or a win in that performance. It wasn't like we threatened every time we went forward. It wasn't shy either, was it? What else we got? I'm one of those Ange followers new to Spurs. Please don't give up on him. Ange is definitely pig-headed and stubborn, but he is genuine. He'll give his 100% commitment to Spurs. Yeah, mate. That's from Boxing Kangaroo, and this is important to understand from people who haven't really followed Ange over his career. One thing he did, the one time he left a job, like what you could say was hounded out of a job, or he got pushed out of a job rather than quit successfully, was the end of his Socceroos tenure. And that all stemmed from... Oh, Ange's on here actually now. Oh, let me see if I get you the audio on.
A lot of changes. That's on me.
I'm going to leave this on when I say night to my wife for a sec.
Played for a while. We're obviously getting a start. So, we weren't as fluent, certainly performance-wise. But some of that's down to Coventry. I thought, like I said, they were excellent tonight. It played with a real sort of high energy. And, we had to sort of, like I said, hang in there for as long as we could. And, at the end, I was really pleased because, both for Jed and Brennan, because, they've come on, made a difference for us and, made an impact in the game.
You mentioned as well in the build-up to this match about Brennan's confidence, being short on confidence. What would that goal have done for him?
Yeah, hopefully a great deal. Like I said during the week, he's a fantastic young man. He's a great player. I think we got a lot of time for him because he works so hard in his game every day. And, like all attacking players, there's always a spotlight on them if things aren't working out. But as I said, that's part of his journey. If you can come out of the other side of this, some tough times and show who you can be, then, I'm sure, we'll benefit greatly from it. But, he took his goal well tonight. I thought he made a good impact.
I know it's early on in the season. You're only a couple of games in. How significant was this tonight, this result? Not so much the performance, but the result. Bearing in mind your comments after the North London derby, and you clarified those comments as well. You're a very honest manager.
Yeah, look, again, it's like you said, it's one of those things that I've consistently said. I don't think there's an easy or quick fix to where we want to get to, and one result doesn't change that. But I thought tonight, at least, in the end there, we showed sort of what we've been missing probably the first 4 games, just a little bit of spirit to find our way, find a way to win a game of football. And that's important as well. We had it last year, and I feel like this year our performance has been good, but we've just lacked that little bit of an edge. And hopefully tonight, that gives the boys a bit of belief in that.
Momentum as well to set you up for the weekend back in the Premier League.
Yeah, no, we've got Brentford at home, and plenty of games. I mean, that's the good thing. Unfortunately, it looks like we picked up a couple of injuries, which is disappointing. But I think the fact that we do have a sort of full calendar will be good for us.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Thanks.
Would you take that?
There you go. Couple of injuries doesn't sound good, does it? I thought it was just Odegaard. Let's have got another one as well. But yeah, let's focus at there's like he said there. I think there was more positives. The biggest positives were that the players who really needed that confidence boost in Spence and Johnson got it today. And yeah, anyway. So before that, we were talking to Boxing Kangaroo, who's an Ange fan, in the comments, and he was explaining don't quit on him. He's definitely a pig-headed, stubborn, but he's genuine and he'll give his 100% commitment. So during his time at the Socceroos, was the one time at the end that he'd kind of really failed, like you could say failed in a job, and it wasn't really failed. He wasn't pushed out for performance. He was kind of getting criticism because he kind of got Australia to a position where they were further in the World Cup than they were probably used to being in, and expectations rose quite a lot. And then he said, I'm not going to beat these bigger international sides playing the way I used to play. So he went for 3 at the back and adapted the system, and there was like a 6-month adaptation period where performances fell off a cliff. And they still qualified and got through and everything, still qualified for the World Cup and everything. But the media really lost their patience with him and the fans lost their patience and they kind of hounded him out. And I don't want Tottenham to do that. And I feel like we're doing that. Like there's that thing of him as a Celtic manager when he's won the treble and he's doing the speech. You must have seen it. It's all very emotional. He's like, you believed in me. You stuck with me. Blah, blah. He's basically saying you guys stuck with me through thick and thin and got me here. If you guys had turned on me, I would never have made it to this point. And I feel like we need to be very careful not to be the ones that turn on him and drive him out before he has a chance to show us what he can do. And some of you may be like, oh, I don't want to go through that. I want to move on to someone else, blah, blah. But I think 90% of us want him to have the opportunity to have 2 or 3 years at Spurs and to prove that he can make it in the Premier League. And it would be so Tottenham for our own fans to rob it from ourselves. So let's back the bloody guy. Positive, can we talk about Spence for a minute? Yeah, I think he was great, mate. Like, considering that he was playing left wing back as well. What an attitude to come back and score like that. Great. Like, fair play to him. He deserves a lot for that. Performance in the NLD was better than tonight. However, the issues regarding final third creation and finalisation need to improve. Agree, Meta Football TV. Yeah, agree, mate. I think the performance in the NLD we did actually play pretty well in that game, just in purely on, performance wise, but the final third was terrible then, and it wasn't great in the first 60 minutes here tonight, but there you go. Just seeing the finish from Johnson, that was class. Tackle and pass from Bentancur was what Ange wants his midfield to do. Agree. It was like, finally, last 20 minutes, we start playing Ange ball. First 70 minutes, we play peak, AVB ball. Like, so if we can I just really hope we can that flow into Brentford. Tonight's performance has been the worst so far, but it was a second string team. Yeah, I agree. Like, you got to take into account there was a mismatch of a team and Forster's Forster. In Ange we trust, maybe a winning Carabao Cup this year. Yeah, I would love the Carabao Cup. My heart is on Europa because I feel like Spurs, and if you're an Ange fan following Spurs now, we've never really been a big club. We won the league twice in our history, like the title. That's before the Premier League existed long ago. But where we're different to Arsenal is we've gone further. We've had more recent success in the Champions League than them and more success in Europe overall than them, despite them having long periods of being better than us. Like, Europe's kind of like our heritage. We won the Europa League twice. Like, it's kind of like, it's like where we overperform and where Arsenal underperform. And I'd love us to win the Europa League again in the modern era. It just feels like it's a part of who we are as a football club. MS is an Arsenal troll. Well, he's trolled me. He's right. He's cheered up, mate. He was a bit angry at first, but I think just like a lot of us, everyone's on different wavelengths of this journey. I'm patient and I'm happy with it. I have to give Ange 3 years, but that's because I'm in my mid-30s and I only had my heart broken 20 times. He might have had his heart broken 40 times by Spurs. I don't know, maybe he's younger than me. I don't know. Different perspectives though, Sir John, but thank you for the comment. I'm imagining you're a good, positive man who loves Spurs. Oh, you give me another comment. We did play well tonight. We did not play well. That was the worst performance so far. Wait, I'm confused. Anyway, we'll get back to that in a sec. I don't think, the first 70 minutes were our worst 70 minutes of the season, but our last 20 minutes were our best 20 minutes of the last 3 games. So it depends how you want to look at it. Spence should start against Brentford, but he won't. Over Porro. Wilson. I think he should start. We didn't bring him to the Europa. I think he should have been in the Europa League squad, so we could have started him there. I don't think he should start against Brentford over Porro, but I think he should get more opportunity to challenge Porro for a spot. I was really impressed with Jed's performance. Me too, mate. I was kind of surprised by the substitution. Ended up being a good one. John and MS, we all love Spurs, lads. Let's not get too negative. Like, MS has been my positive boy the last 30 minutes, and you're dragging him down, John. We just won. What's with the negativity, mate? Come on. We just won. Enjoy it. Daniel and Rebecca, love your content tonight. Was the opposite to the rest of the season. Played bad, but won. I think that could jumpstart us season. I think we needed that. Agree, Daniel and Rebecca playtime. I think we desperately needed that. I think we'd hit this kind of doldrums of confidence, and I think it does weigh on the squad as well when it's just coming from all directions, like the media, everything, and the confidence knocks on, and you know those final third passes stop happening. It always became a bit of a nightmare, but that 20 minutes of positive football should roll into the next game, and it was needed. But Luke, I do agree that the first 70 minutes were a stinker, but the last 20 minutes are brilliant, and I'm going to enjoy those last 20 minutes and celebrate over them for the rest of the night, because two players that needed to score scored, sets us up well for our next game. We're into the next. We've gone further in the cup than we did last year, and why would you want to be down about that? Be down. We've just come off a North London derby defeat. Be down about that, but don't be down about this. To be fair, love that we have won tonight. Had a crap weekend, didn't we? We did. We needed that. We needed that. That was like coming off a tough week of work and having a pint at the end of the week, or a takeaway, or you know, whatever it is, that a fag or whatever tickles your fancy at the end of the week. Right, we'll wrap up in 2 minutes, so let's have a last questions. What is causing such a toxic fan base, though? Is it YouTubers creating environment? Is it just modern day attitude? Is it Spurs supporters demographic? Oh, so yeah, Boxing Kangaroo asked this, and I think this is again because you mentioned earlier you're more of an Ange fan than a Spurs fan, and you know maybe you don't have the full context to where that kind of like the division. I don't want to call it toxic anymore, because I think I'm being toxic calling it toxic, because I'm saying like anyone who doesn't like it, where we're going, is a problem, and that's not fair. Just because I think it's going one way doesn't think they should think it's going one way. But Spurs is a club that historically used to. We had a very brief period where we won the double, and we were very, very good under Bill Nick. And even when we kind of reset to the mean and we were kind of a mid-table squad, a club for a long, long time, we'd still always be known as this team that Tottenham go in the FA Cup and they win it. Put them in the Europa League, they may well win it. They're the type of team that sees trophies over the line. And then our ownership changed, and we went through some really bad ownership. We nearly went bankrupt and all these other things, but we're still winning trophies during these tough periods. And then the new owners came in, they sorted us out financially, things started going. Like, what's weird is if you look at our average league position, it's never been better over an average of like 5 years. Like in the last like 40 years, it's gotten a lot considerably better. But we don't win those trophies anymore. And that's created this kind of like frustration and anger as to why, because it is all about winning trophies at the end of the day. It is all about that. And there's been moments in which we as a club were so close to winning those trophies and we didn't pull the trigger on a certain player or whatever it is. And, you know, like there was the best examples before your time of supporting us with Ange. It was like Pochettino we'd started kind of finishing in the top 3 regularly and challenging for trophies in all competitions, getting to semi-finals regularly. And then we went 12 months without making a single signing. And there's context to that, right? Because we were building the stadium, which was costing us $1 billion in a loan and spiraling out of control in costs. But everyone felt we could have squeezed 1 or 2 players out that period, and that would have taken us that last 6 points to win something. It didn't happen. So the club tried to scramble back the situation and fix it. And they went, we'll get a manager. We'll get rid of Poch because it was kind of going downhill, Poch then. But we'll bring in a manager and get the best out of Harry Kane and Heung-min Son, because they're the best forward players in the world. Still got Jan Vertonghen, still got Eriksen, still got all these amazing players. Bring in Jose Mourinho. And it was miserable. Terrible, turgid football, blah, 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 fell on its face. So we brought in Nuno, fell on its face. Then we brought in Conte, fell on its face. And people have now been told to trust in another guy, and they're a bit hurt. They're a bit wary of trusting another guy. So, and I think that's where a lot of negativity comes from, is anger at the ownership's previous decisions to hire those previous people and not spend that bit more to get them over the line. And there's mistrust and there's emotional damage there. But I think we need to be careful not to throw away a great thing in Ange because of past mistakes and past situations which he has nothing to do with, because Ange is a breath of fresh air versus him. And I'm super excited about Ange, and I hope we stick with him. I don't care where he finishes this league. I want to stick with him for at least 18 more months. And I agree with Box Henry. The best thing to do is support your team through thick and thin if they're doing good or not. You don't, like example is Brennan Johnson, right? I think like we can all debate over whether he's good enough or not. But what's going to make Brennan Johnson better? Slagging him off on social media or 61,000 people cheering him on in a stadium, giving him a round of applause when he backtracks or does a good run. Like, I think the support is going to encourage the kid more. So let's try. That's my view anyway. Per Dani, I also hope Odebear did not get seriously hurt. While I'm probably in a minority actually liking Werner last season, he hasn't looked good at all. I think per Dani, Werner added value last season, but he wasn't right for this season. And it's disappointing we got him. And it's gutting that Odebear's injured, because he's going to be a really important player for us. I think Solanke will only get stronger and build up some serious partnership with Madders and Kulu. Watch this space. Yeah, the only one I'm skeptical of there, I think Kulu is quickly becoming everything we wanted Maddison to be. Like, Kulu had kind of been pushed into being like this like fringe player that we'd lost trust in. He was like, is he good enough? Is he not? Should we even complete the transfer when we had him on loan? Like, he's not quick enough, blah, 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 blah. He's fast becoming the most important player in the squad. I can't think of anyone, apart from Mickey van der Ven, that I think's having a bigger impact this season consistently, in Vicario, obviously. Like, there's maybe Porro, but yeah, he's in the top mixer. That's what I'm going with. So yeah, but yeah, I agree with what you're saying there mostly. But I think I'd like to see, Kulu and Solanke could be important. Maybe we play Kulu, Solanke, and Matters. Some YouTubers are all about the negative. They are, mate. They are. They make a career off your misery and baiting you into being angry, because the way, as a YouTuber, I can tell you this, the way the algorithm works, it doesn't actually care about the likes and that kind of stuff. It pushes things based on engagement. And what the people who make these algorithms realized is, if everyone tunes into my podcast and gives me 100, and I normally have like let's say a 98.7% like rating, and people tune in for like most of the show and don't leave, that's great, but they don't push my video as aggressively as some guy who's got a 50% approval rating and 2,000 comments because everyone's arguing in the comment section. They want they want engagement. They want people disagreeing, coming back to the channel to continue the argument they were having with some stranger on the internet later. Someone who's so riled up, they've got to go back on and make a point. So angry, they might create their own channel to go make a point about it. Those are the type of people they're realizing they're digging for. So what they're doing is they're finding the handful of platforms that are very good at that negativity side that drives that behavior, and they're boosting them hard. And so what you'll see is there may be 100 accounts that are pretty reasonable people and 5 accounts that are bad, like very toxic, but you'll see more of those toxic ones. You'll still see more of than all the positive ones. So what you've got to do is you've got to find the ones you like and enjoy, and it's unfortunate, you've got to close the circle. And I don't like that. I don't like the idea of putting your hands over your ears and ignoring other people's opinions, but you've got to be selective. If you let the algorithm do its thing, it will just push you into these toxic, miserable places. Coventry vs Spurs is one of the best FA Cup finals. Mate, it is. You are right. Historically, Coventry, for those who don't know, are a massive club that we have some. Wait, did we beat them in the finals? That Spurs versus Coventry. Mate, I'm going to show myself up here because is that because of the shirt behind me? It's going to be really embarrassing that we won the FA Cup versus Coventry, and I've got the shirt behind me from that date. Yeah. 1986, 1987. Mine is 1981. No, so mine's different. But yeah, we beat Coventry in the FA Cup final. We used to be cup winners, especially when the year ended in 1. We did. I was born in 91. And yeah, I've only seen one League Cup since. I have got. This is how sad it is being a Spurs fan sometimes, right? I'm going to show you something. In my cupboards, when we last won a trophy, I took all the newspaper clippings out of the newspapers, put them everywhere around my walls and stuff because we didn't have phones and stuff then, obviously, like to backgrounds and things. And I was meant to build like a montage of trophies over the years of like newspaper clippings of all the stuff we'd won. And I've still only got the same ones, and I'll get them for you here. Look at this. All white now when we won the League Cup with Berbatov's goal. January 23rd, 2008. That's the last time I saw Spurs win a trophy. Timo Tainio on the front there. Jonathan, just look at the state of it. I should have more than that. That is all I have is a physical reminder that Tottenham won a trophy. So, yeah, it's been a while. I'm buying, it sums up when the picture behind me is in black and white on my wall, because that's the time we won the FA Cup. But anyway, it's what it is. Van der Ven and Kulu, our best players so far this season for definite. Yeah, mate, agree. Van der Vaart, did I say Van der Ven? Don't forget, this is still a painful rebuild, and the realistic frame for me is a good thing. Yeah, I agree, Avalon, mate. I have no expectations of this season in terms of a league finish. I want to see the system improving and moving forward, and the problems we've talked about in the final third improving. But Ange has a free pass for me this year. I'd be mad to start again right now. Totally agree with you, supporting the team and the players. You get far more flies with honey. And most of these players are young men who need support. They are. I think. Do you know what really annoys me? It's like when I hear Jamie O'Hara calling out, like, let's just say it's Brennan Johnson. He's called him out. He's called him shit. Like, mate, you were a youth academy player when I was personally sat in the West Stand at Spurs. I remember the season just before we sold him. He'd won young player of the season before that or something, like voted by the fans for our club. And people were properly saying, like, he's crap, like, we need better than him, blah, blah, blah. We don't want to spend money on someone better, all this kind of stuff. And me and my brother and my uncle were like, leave it out. He's an academy boy. Like, he's Spurs. Let's back him. Like, come on. He's a part of this freaking football club. And then he starts slagging off other players, young kids trying to make a breakthrough. I just find it baffling, like, how that's at all helpful, especially when you've got a platform so big, like being on TalkSport and that. He's going to hear it. Someone will send it to him. Someone will. Or the algorithm will push to him. It's just a dick move. Grow up. Yeah, 2008, last time we won anything, it was. I've started turning those off now. I used to listen to Last Word on Spurs, but lately I've just had to quit them. I haven't listened to Last Word on Spurs in ages. I think they're probably the biggest one. I would say fair play to the chap who runs it, Ricky. I see him on like Sky Sports and stuff, and I always think, man, he's gotten that far. Fair play to him. But yeah, I don't follow the content because I'm just not on the same wavelength. It's very entertaining. It's great stuff. I'm sure a lot of people love it. But for me, I just find it too tiring. I need Spurs to relax. I don't go there for a fight and a intense argument. I go there for a place of solace, for like a kind of like not spiritual, but you know what I mean? Like almost like I want to just compartmentalize what just happened at my own pace, slowly understand it, remain factual, try keep the massive emotions that are in football out of it to focus on what the reality is. And it's very easy to get sucked into a load of emotion on that. We will call them Judas when they leave for a big club, but why should they be faithful to us when we don't support them when they're going through it? I agree. I think like someone like Bale's a prime example. We were all up in arms when he left at the time. We forget that now. We were pretty pissed off at him at the time. But if he was Brennan Johnson ability, we'd have been booing the same guy that we were pissed off was leaving us. So it's all a bit biased. Coventry Spurs was 3-2, not 2-1 when we won the FA Cup. Yes. Well said, MS. And just said Odegaard injury doesn't look too bad. No, what it looks like to me is like he went into that game with a niggle and said, I'm fine, but let's see how it goes for 30 minutes. And he went down and went, yeah, I don't want to risk it. So I imagine Odegaard will be out for 1 or 2 weeks. But you know what? There's a really good Twitter page called Physio Room. But he just he's like a physio who specializes in like predicting Premier League injuries. He's normally pretty spot on. Jim, Peter, is that Peter Mentor? Or which Peter is it? I don't know. But if you're Peter Mentor, hi Peter Mentor. If you're not Peter Mentor, hi Peter. Jim, hopefully with Ange, you will be able to finish it old school. Mate, I hope I can. I've told some people this before. So I sit in Spurs in the West Stand. I used to sit in the West, South, up, like middle upper. So the problem is if I wanted to storm the pitch, I've got to go back out of my seat, down a tunnel, and then back into the stadium. If that makes sense. I can't just like run down onto the pitch. I've got to go like down some stairs. So I always picture like when we're having a good run of form, shit, if we win the league, how am I going to get on the pitch to celebrate? How am I going to get on there? Because I'll go all the way down there and the stewards will be there by now. So I dream every year. I just want it to be the guy. I would happily get banned for life for storming onto that pitch, jumping on, I don't know, Van der Ven's back and giving him a wet willy and saying, I love you, and just touching the trophy. Like I just dream of that moment. I would love it. Go woke, you become broke. Snapped hamstring. Don't say that. That gives me so much fear. We'd know. So Spurs, brilliant attitude and channel. Really enjoy your content. Thank you from us. Thank you, Boxing Kangaroo. We try to be somewhere that's reasonably consistent. I didn't. Not all of you guys were tuned in earlier, but some exciting news. I got an invite from the Fighting Cock. So I'm going to be on the lab talking about some stuff soon, which I'm super excited about because kind of started this pod off initially from kind of being inspired by those guys because, well, you can read the story if you want on my Twitter page, Also Spurs. You'll see why we set this up and why we've raised. By the way, we went to raise £1,000 today, and we have raised 1,500 quid in a day. For our charity that we're doing, and that is freaking awesome. And if you're one of those people that donated, you are absolute legend because, if you want to know what that's all about, I don't want to plug it too hard on here. It's on my Twitter page, so just go Also Spurs on X, and you can find the details there. You'll see it when you don't scroll for long. My story is who I am and all that stuff and what's led to this moment. Anyway, Berbatov and Bale were big wrenches, mate. They were class. You look back at that debt. Remember when we had, look at that team, I think we had Luka Modric. He was so good. He went to Real Madrid and they built a team around him that won 6 Champions Leagues. That's insane. We had Gareth Bale in the same side. We had Rafael van der Vaart in the same side. Like, it wasn't the most complete squad. We had some proper dross in there. Not a drop. We had like Coy's Spurs type legends, but they weren't very good. But there wasn't all great players in there, but those guys were epic. To have like weird and quick session, we had Berbatov, Bale, Modric, Van der Vaart, all coming through in quick succession, just madness. And then they all obviously moved on, time changes, then Kane comes through. We were so blessed to have all those class players. Most clubs, like, like Villa, Everton and that, they haven't had one of those players that level in 20, 30 years. We had like 5 of them. Agreed. I just got therapy from your channel. Thanks, doctor. Pleasure, mate. Feeling better and less bitter. You're not bitter, mate. You're rightfully passionate about our football club. And it rightly pisses you off when they're not doing well. The pod is a lifesaver. I live in Germany and need a leveled exchange. Keep it up, please. Thanks, Daniel and Rebecca. playtime. Really kind of you to say. Yeah, I'm going to be doing some more content soon. Oh, also, if you're a regular, so you'll see we do this members thing. I've kept it the lowest price I can possible on the YouTube thing. We're going to try and introduce some more content soon. The reason I'm not trying to charge anyone money, because this is like telling the channel all commercial and stuff. I'm never going to be like plugging hard ads and stuff like that to people. But if I wanted to be able to invest full time into this, I need to make enough money that compensates more than what my day job does now. And that does require me having memberships and those things. But equally, like I'm going to have to invest more and more time as well to ramp up to that point. But that's why I love memberships and stuff, just to help with that. So we're also launched a charity, as many of you know now, which you can see on our Twitter page, which is pretty awesome, that we raised 1,500 quid for in a day, which is fucking epic. So yeah, anyway, Berbatov was another level. Technics like a gangly Maradona, mate. Say it to a dead. That man's first touch. Best I've ever seen in a Spurs shirt. Like, Glenn Hoddle was special as well, but yeah, Berbatov, wow. Right, if you have any final questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm probably going to hit the hay in a couple of minutes, because I'm going to be in central London tomorrow for various things. Daniel and Rebecca Playtime, you've signed up to membership. Daniel and Rebecca Playtime, legends. I think I need to desperately make you guys the first ones who sign up to become members. I want to see if I can do it. Like, make you some like special logo thing that shows like you were the first ones that did it. Like, and I want to like then create something unique content wise that like the original first members get something for life. Almost like for being the ones that went with us early. I'll have a think about that. I'm open-minded to ideas. I've also got this plan where I want to bring in a website for Oso Spurs, but not like a normal website, one that has a one page and it pulls in all the main statistics from all the main websites about Tottenham, all the main news articles, all the top performing podcast content, all these other things. You've got kind of one-stop shop. But if you use the Athletic app, a bit like that, but just for Spurs. Win like we did tonight or lose like we did on Sunday. It's always got to be win like we did tonight. I'll always take the win. Oh, tough one though. My name is Sean. Daniel and Rebecca are my kids. Nice to meet you, Sean, mate. I remember that. You're sharing a YouTube account, are you, with your kids? I have a similar thing where they're all over it. But yeah, great to meet you, Sean. And thanks for tuning in, mate. I got to jump, but one last thing I could redo of your guys' help on if you are listeners to the pod. Like on the audio pod side, I know we're supposed to YouTube. You could like follow it on Spotify or whatever. Could you give it a 5-star review if you wouldn't mind? Just because it like no one actually really like it's to get those reviews boosts up the algorithm massive. And the only way you get the reviews is by asking people. And I hate asking people to do it. We've had like 60 or 70 5-star reviews, but having like a flurry of 5 or 10 boosts up the algorithm. And we are doing really well. Like we're in the top 20 sports podcasts in Australia. And we keep breaking into like the top 50 pods in the UK. But I'd love to get a bit on. I'd love to go on a bit of run. And for 2 years, it's pretty good numbers. But anyway, thank you for tuning in, guys. We'll do another live show and for the Europa League next week. Let's do it. Much love to you all wonderful people. Go to bed dreaming and loving Tottenham Hotspur. Ignore the negativity. Enjoy yourselves, because the wins are what it's all about. And we're going to go into Brentford with a great attitude, and we're going to have a better performance there. And yeah, up the bloody Spurs to all of you. Come on, you Spurs.